Chapter 523. World Cleansing Sacred Lotus. An extremely pure lotus suddenly appeared in the gray sky. It slowly bloomed, and the countless petals emitted a sparkling glow, dispelling the poisonous miasma and evil aura bit by bit. This was the power of world cleansing and could be said to be sacred power. From afar, it looked like Guanyin was riding a celestial lotus in midair, dispelling the power of the top-notch heavenly Yiksha's attack and purifying a large part of the poisonous miasma's power. However, the top-notch heavenly Yiksha's power was very weak. Even though Qing Jing had used her talent and potential to block this fatal attack, she was still severely injured. Qing Jing's blood flowed out from her mouth, and her countenance turned extremely pale. The power of the world cleansing sacred lotus became a lot dimmer. Junior Marshall's sister, Qing Shui, gasped and quickly protected Qing Jing, preventing her from getting injured again. Wen Tianqi exclaimed, "Take this opportunity to kill the Yikshas." He attacked the top-notch heavenly Yiksha with his divine sword finger, determined to snatch the Knight's St. Pearl. Purple Yu threw a grateful glance at Qing Jing and said, "Thank you. I'll remember this favor." She then continued to circulate her powers, gathering the powers of the heavenly thunder once again. The heavenly thunder finally came tearing through the air. Rumble, rumble. The heavenly thunder was truly a power of extreme yang that could wipe out evil powers. Several tens of heavenly thunders struck out at the same time, and a large part of the poisonous miasma was dispersed. Countless ghost trees and Yikshas died under the thunder and lightning, scaring the Yikshas so much that they fled for their lives. At the same time, Lei Shuyang and the other people from the Purple Firmament Palace also circulated their powers of thunder and went all out to kill the enemies. The morale of the human geniuses was greatly boosted. Kill. The poisonous miasma has thinned by a large part. We can go all out now. There are too many ghost trees. I'll set them on fire. Who can blow the wind and burn them all? These Yikshas have killed many of our people. They can turn invisible. Everyone must be careful and go all out to kill the enemies. The top 10 geniuses are already dealing with the top-notch heavenly Yikshas. We mustn't hold them back either. The remaining geniuses were all in high spirits. They unleashed their full strength. Different types of energy blasted out, killing many ghost trees and Yikshas. This was the territory of the Yikshas, and there were more of them than this. The Yikshas were only the vanguard, and the real elites were on the move. Dozens of heaven-rank auras swept over from afar, and a high-ranking Yiksha screeched, "These humans deserve to die. We will suck their blood, skin them, and eat their flesh." The Yikshas had sent out all their masters. Not only were there dozens of heaven-level Yikshas, but there were also hundreds of king-level Yikshas and many ghost trees. They could pose a great threat to the human prodigies. Other than that, the top-notch heavenly Yiksha had the ability to decide the outcome. Even though the people from the Purple Firmament Palace had broken through the Knight's St. Pearl's power enveloping them and attracted the heavenly thunder, the Knight's St. Pearl was still around, and the top-notch heavenly Yiksha was still around. Everything was not over yet. The top-notch heavenly Yiksha held onto the Knight's St. Pearl and revealed a savage expression. He said faintly, "The heavenly thunder and world-cleansing saint powers are the most abominable powers. I have the Knight's St. Pearl, and I can completely block them. With my powers as the Night God, I can kill all of you human prodigies." He activated the powers of the Knight's St. Pearl once again, and the gray power once again covered the sky, wanting to isolate the mystic chi of the world here once again, preventing the human prodigies from attracting the heavenly thunder. Yu, Lei Shuyang, Wen Tianqi, and the others naturally wouldn't give him such a chance. They all took action to deal with the top-notch heavenly Yikshas. Heavenly thunder like the sea. Thunderbolts 10,000 caddies. Divine sword finger. Yu pierced out with the purple lightning sword, bringing down a stretch of heavenly thunder. It was as if the entire sky was exploding, and that world-destroying prowess was really terrifying. Lei Shuyang wasn't weak either. He formed hand seals repeatedly, and like the son of the thunder god, he kept on slapping out thunderbolts, aiming for the top-notch heavenly Yiksha's vital points. When Tianqi waved his sword fingers, and majestic sword cheese shot out like rainbows. The astonishing killing prowess was unstoppable. With the three top-notch geniuses joining forces, the threatening prowess could be said to be terrifying. It was a pity that they were only at the elementary level of the heavenly fish realm. Even though Lei Xiong was close to the middle level of the heavenly fish realm, he was still a far cry from being at the top-notch heavenly fish realm. It was extremely difficult for him to fight someone who was a few levels above him. Light of fireflies, be destroyed. The top-notch heavenly Yiksha let out a furious bellow and waved its Yiksha bone weapon. The seething power was like demonic fog seething, yet also like Yiksha's cries, blocking the many heavenly thunders. It then split into three gushes of power and charged out toward Ziyuyu, Lei Shuyong, and Wen Tianqi. These three gushes of power were stronger than any of them. Despite going all out to block, they were still sent flying while spewing blood. The fact that they didn't die was already a testament to their strong foundation. The top-notch heavenly Yiksha did not chase after them and went straight for Qing Jing. Its bone weapon turned into black fog and lightning, piercing down toward her head. It could be seen that it wanted to kill Qing Jing as soon as possible. This was the power of a top-notch heavenly Yiksha. Qing Jing was merely a top-notch king, and there was a difference of several levels between them. Even though Qing Jing had received one attack from the heavenly Yiksha earlier, it did not mean that she would be able to receive its powers consecutively. Qing Jing wore a grim expression and once again activated the powers of her world-cleansing sacred lotus, going up against the other party's power. Once again, she successfully blocked this attack. However, her powers plunged once again, and she spewed out blood once again. Her aura became a lot weaker. Junior Marshall's sister, Qing Shui, who was protecting Qing Jing, called out worriedly. The top-notch heavenly Yiksha above smiled coldly. Let's see how many attacks you can take. It crazily sent down waves of black fog powers, smashing down like black clouds in the sky. The scene was as if the world was going to be destroyed, and it was extremely horrifying. Junior Marshall's sister, I'll protect you. Qing Shui could no longer sit and wait for death. Qing Jing's role was extremely important. She could purify the poisonous miasma here and reduce the damage dealt to others. There mustn't be any mistakes. Qing Shui performed the Hung Mountain Sect's sword technique, and the agile sword stance contained a strong Buddha nature. The overwhelming righteous energy was no small matter, and it expelled the poisonous miasma. Bang! It was a pity that her realm and powers were too weak. When the top-notch heavenly Yiksha's powers came crashing down on her body, she exploded on the spot. The poisonous miasma quickly encompassed her, corroding her into a black poison person and causing her to die rapidly. Eldest Marshall's sister, Qing Jing, watched as Qing Shui died. Tears flowed down her cheeks, and she felt extremely guilty. If she had been stronger, her senior Marshall's sister wouldn't have had to die. You can go down and accompany her as well. The top-notch heavenly Yiksha said heartlessly and once again attacked Qing Jing. Don't try to be violent. Purple Yu let out a cry and threw out the thunder explosion pearl toward the top-notch heavenly Yiksha. Rumble, rumble. The thunder explosion pearl was a specialty of the Purple Firmament Palace. Each pearl was refined from high-grade demonic or beast cores and possessed great prowess. Each pearl was a secret treasure that could kill people and was invaluable. Although they couldn't be compared to imperial edicts, they were definitely the best means to protect one's life and kill enemies. Purple Yu only had 3 on her, and she had used 2 of them in one go. They were both heaven-grade thunder explosion pearls. Even a dragon transformation realm expert wouldn't be able to withstand the prowess of such an explosive attack. However, when the explosive prowess disappeared, the top-notch heavenly Yiksha came charging over rapidly. The Yiksha bone soldier pierced furiously toward Purple Yu's heart. It let out a voice filled with killing intent. You deserve to die too. Seeing that this attack was about to reach Purple Yu, Lei Shuyong dashed over and threw out another thunder explosion pearl. The top-notch Heavenly Yiksha had the Knight Saint Pearl and the power of a top-notch Heaven Realm expert. Its defensive prowess was very strong, and even after receiving this astonishing explosive prowess, it still didn't suffer any fatal injuries. It only felt some pain. The top-notch Heavenly Yiksha was enraged. It waved its battle weapon. An endless poisonous fog gushed out crazily toward Purple Yu and Lei Shuyong, like the wailing of ghosts and howling of wolves. Right now, the world-cleansing Sacred Heart in Qing Jing's body unleashed its powers once again. She was extremely sorrowful, wanting to purge away some of the evil powers. Her tears flowed down like a fairy crying. Eldest Martial Sister, it's my fault. I've failed to live up to your expectations. I shouldn't have sympathized with these evil creatures. I should have sent them to the afterlife. The world-cleansing, sacred lotus bloomed, increasingly bigger. An endless poisonous fog was purged away. Even in the dark night, one could see light. Countless yikshas and ghost trees were suppressed by this power, feeling extremely uncomfortable. They hated this kind of world-cleansing powers, and many weaker yikshas and ghost trees died rapidly. They were unable to withstand this world-cleansing powers. Very soon, even those powerful yakshas and ghost trees couldn't take it anymore. They cried out incessantly and quickly fled, not daring to stay behind. What a detestable power! I can't take it anymore. Night God, quickly come and wipe her out. Otherwise, our race will definitely perish. Run quickly. Once you're enveloped by this power, not only will you lose all of your battle prowess, but you'll also die. The human race's geniuses were elated. They thought that they were doomed, but who knew that there would be a glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel? The world-cleansing powers increased tremendously. Other than wiping out many yikshas and ghost trees, it also purged away the yiksha poison in their bodies. Those who were about to be poisoned to death all recovered. The top-notch Heavenly Yiksha was also greatly affected and impacted. Thankfully, it had the Knight Saint Pearl in its hands, which minimized the damage. It bellowed furiously, "Saint Pearl, bestow me with sacred powers. Wipe out the light and restore my darkness." The top-notch Heavenly Yiksha absorbed the powers of the Knight Saint Pearl and swung down its battle weapon crazily. Countless bone spikes rained down, with the majority of them attacking Qing Jing, while the other portion attacked the other geniuses. Those geniuses who had yet to rejoice were hit by these powers and instantly turned into a pool of poisonous blood, dying without a complete corpse. With just a single move, several tens of geniuses were killed. This was the terrifying killing prowess of a top-notch Heavenly Yiksha. Qing Jing's world-cleansing Sacred Lotus suffered a great impact. Qing Jing's powers were greatly depleted and could no longer be maintained. Most of the world-cleansing sacred powers disappeared completely, and she plummeted from the sky. Behind her, there were still terrifying powers chasing after her, wanting to wipe her out completely. The Hung Mountain sect's nuns were too weak and could not save her. All of them felt anxious and uncomfortable, wanting nothing more than to block those attacks for Qing Jing. The geniuses from the other sects wanted to save her, but they were unable to do so. Just as Qing Jing was about to be killed, Ziyu dashed over and blocked this attack for Qing Jing. The two ladies crashed into the ground at the same time, their fates unknown. "I'll send you off on your last journey." The top-notch Heavenly Yiksha did not believe that the two ladies would die and once again made a move to eradicate them. Just then, an extremely furious voice rang out from afar. "Be **starred. I'll kill your entire race." Chapter 5:24. This voice was extremely loud and clear, bringing with it a terrifyingly strong, killing intent that filled up the entire world. Who on earth dared to speak so arrogantly to a top-notch Heavenly Yiksha? Many sky prides looked in that direction and saw a young man riding on a flying beast charging over a high speed. Everyone could not help but feel a little disappointed. They had thought that there would be a superb expert who would be able to lend them a helping hand. However, when they saw that it was only a young man who had come, They could not conceal their disappointment. Many people started to have thoughts of escaping. They could not fight against this top-notch heavenly yiksha. The top-notch heavenly yiksha had been scolded by humans many times, but this was the first time it had heard such a thing. It felt that this was definitely the greatest insult to the yiksha race. It stopped its attacks and looked in the direction of the person who had come. It said coldly, "Another human who doesn't know what's good for him." After saying that, it threw out a stream of power in the direction of the person who had come. Even if it was just a casual attack, it was not something that ordinary Heaven Realm experts would be able to withstand. That young man was prepared. He jumped down from the bird and headed toward where the two ladies had landed. Bang! That bird was unable to dodge in time and was hit by the top-notch heavenly yiksha's power. It turned into a pool of poisonous blood and died. This was a Heaven Realm bird and was not a match for the top-notch heavenly yiksha. Many geniuses were even more disappointed when they saw this scene. However, someone exclaimed, "Martial Heavenly King." There were many people who had seen Yang Wu before. Moreover, there were also people he was familiar with here, such as the Proud Sword 5 heroes and Yang Jie. Of course, the Sky-Severing Sex Saint had also seen him. Other than the Sky-Severing Sex Saint, the others were all extremely excited. They had not expected that Yang Wu would appear at this moment. Moreover, they felt that Yang Wu seemed to have grown a lot taller than before, and his aura was even more unfathomable. Perhaps they still had hope. Yang Wu rapidly headed in the direction where the two ladies were, praying in his heart, "Yu, Junior Marshall's sister, please be safe." The 3-year agreement between Yang Wu and Ziyu was almost up. Now that he could see her in advance, he was incomparably excited. He definitely did not want to see anything happen to Ziyu. It was a pity that before Yang Wu could reach the two ladies, that top-notch heavenly yiksha once again attacked him. It let out a cold bellow. To think that a human at the King Realm would dare to be arrogant before me. You don't know what's good for you. A top-notch heavenly yiksha made a move, and a stream of poisonous fog's power dashed out toward Yang Wu in the blink of an eye like a collapsing bridge. Even though Yang Wu had reached the pinnacle of the Earthsea realm, it was still not easy for him to go up against this top-notch heavenly yiksha head-on. Relying on his outstanding reaction speed, Yang Wu dodged the heavenly yiksha's attack by a hair's breadth and continued to dash out toward the two ladies. In addition to him, Lei Shuyang, the geniuses of the Purple Cloud Palace, and the nuns of the Hung Mountain sect quickly flew over. They did not want anything to happen to the two women. Why is Yu so foolish? It's not worth it just to save a nun, Lei Shuyang thought to himself. Yang Wu was completely targeted. The top-notch heavenly yiksha was unable to do anything to a mere King Realm expert. It spread out its wings and dashed toward Yang Wu. Moreover, it kept on swinging its battle weapon, and over 10 streams of poisonous fog's power formed a prison, sealing and suppressing Yang Wu. This wave of power came very quickly, blocking Yang Wu's path and posing a great threat to Yang Wu. Yang Wu was enraged. He had been separated from Yu for close to 3 years, and the two of them were finally able to meet again. To think that this top-notch heavenly yiksha was still trying to obstruct him. He could not take this lying down. Did it not know that he missed her a lot? Did it not know that he was very worried about her? Did it not know that he was very angry? Yang Wu sensed that someone had gone over to save the two women. He steeled his heart and bellowed at the top-notch heavenly yiksha, "I'll kill you first. Goodbye, my beloved." Yang Wu's battle blood surged, and his aura erupted like a tempest. Waves of sapphire like mystic chi encircled his entire body, and his aura was gray and powerful. A faint image of a dragon turtle appeared behind him, and his arms swung out in a strange trajectory. Mystic chi gathered from all directions, and he used both his fists and palms. It was as if the powers of the world had been tossed aside by him as he struck out toward the top-notch heavenly yiksha. Dragon Turtle Sea Overturning Technique. As Yang Wu's battle prowess increased, this move could already unleash a hint of an unrivaled powerful move. The sky within 3 to 4 leagues was stirred up by him. It was really extraordinarily domineering. This move was still at the proficient stage, but he had refined the Flood Dragon's blood essence, which had a great stimulating effect on this move. It was very normal for the explosive power to increase abruptly. The dragon turtle sea overturning technique broke through the top-notch heavenly Yiksha's prison, but there was still a lot of poisonous fog that wrapped toward Yangwu. These powers might have a great killing prowess to others, but they were useless against Yangwu. Yangwu struck out 3 waves of the dragon turtle sea overturning technique consecutively, and the world was overturned thrice. The stack prowess could kill mid-level heavenly fish realm experts. The top-notch heavenly Yiksha was not afraid at all. This power was nothing to it. It swung down its battle weapon, and it was as if a black dividing line had appeared, forcibly slashing Yangwu's move into 2. This was the power of a top-notch heaven realm expert, and it was not something that Yangwu could compare against. Yangwu avoided this move. He refined the rapid pill in his body, and the ice blade wings grew out. At the very least, in terms of speed, he was able to compete against the heavenly Yiksha. Otherwise, there would be no way for him to fight this battle. The top-notch heavenly Yiksha did not wish to give Yangwu too many chances. It closed in rapidly and slashed out with its battle weapon. A sharp power appeared before Yangwu in the blink of an eye, wanting to slash Yangwu into 2. Yangwu's divine core Dao flower had grown a lot longer, and his soul force had reached a high level, or even a top-notch heavenly fish realm expert. His reaction speed was extremely astonishing, and when this attack landed before him, he had already spread his wings and avoided it. It was already very impressive that he could dodge the top-notch heavenly Yiksha's attack. However, the geniuses below were displeased. Earlier, they had heard Yangwu bellowing very loudly, but in the end, he only knew how to dodge here and there. There was no killing prowess at all, and this made them very disappointed. Is he here to be a joke? He only knows how to dodge after just one move. Can he fight it out with this Yiksha? What martial heavenly king? He just doesn't live up to his reputation. His escaping speed is really top-notch. If he can kill this heavenly Yiksha, I feel that it won't be a problem for him to become the number 1 on the heavenly king rankings. It's a pity that it's not very possible. These geniuses had all retreated to a safe distance, and many ghost trees and Yikshas had been chased away by the peaceful world cleansing powers. It was only then that they had the leisure to make comments about Yangwu. Yang Jie bellowed, feeling displeased. Don't talk nonsense here. Do you guys have what it takes to take one move from a top-notch heavenly Yiksha? Gushi echoed. That's right. You guys probably don't even have the courage to face a top-notch heavenly Yiksha. What right do you have to talk about the martial heavenly king? The other members of the proud Sword 5 heroes all spoke up in support of Yangwu, not allowing others to defame him. Those people wanted to rebut, but they could not find a good reason to do so. It was true that Yangwu had the courage to face a top-notch heavenly Yiksha. They were no match for him. The young Hall King, Shui Tu, the Yinyang cult saint, and the others did not make a move to help. They were all paying attention to Yangwu to see if he was worthy of being their opponent. In another direction, many people had rushed over to the place where Yu Yu and Qing Jing had fallen. They were not dead yet. Zi Yu Yu was wearing a small saint inner armor and had blocked most of the impact for Qing Jing. The two of them had suffered quite a bit of impact and were badly injured. Thankfully, their lives were not in danger, and they could stabilize their injuries after consuming recuperation pills. The poisonous fog that had seeped into their bodies was ineffective against them. One of them had the heavenly thunderbone muscles' innate talent, while the other had the power of the world-cleansing sacred lotus. Both of them could get rid of the poisonous fog. Yu Yu, are you all right? Lei Shuyang asked anxiously. The nuns from the Hung Mountain sect were more concerned about Qing Jing. They said, Junior Marshall's sister, hang in there. Zi Yu was injured, but she was very clear-headed. It was as if she did not hear Lei Shuyang's question. She struggled to stand up, wearing an anxious expression as she said, I heard Brother Wu's voice. He must be here. He must be here. Hearing this, Lei Shuyang's expression darkened. He said loudly, Yu Yu, you shouldn't move around recklessly right now. I'll bring you away from here to recuperate first. With that, he squatted down, wanted to carry Zi Yu up. Zi Yu rejected him loudly, saying, No, "Don't touch me. I want to see Brother Wu." It was unknown if it was because she had consumed recuperation pills or because of the power of love, but she dragged her severely injured body and stood up. She looked up at the figure in the sky who was fighting against the top-notch heavenly yiksha. Tears flowed down from her beautiful eyes, and she could not suppress the joy in her heart as she called out loudly, "Brother Wu." She had suppressed this cry for close to 3 years, pouring her endless yearning into these 3 words. Her voice contained some kind of magical power, as if calling out from across time and space. It cut across the sky and landed in Yang Wu's ears. Yang Wu felt as if a sweet spring was flowing into his body and mind, making him feel comfortable and calm. A feeling of joy filled his body and mind as he replied loudly, "Slug." Everyone was stunned. They did not know what Yang Wu was shouting about. Could it be some kind of terrifying incantation that could wipe out a top-notch heavenly yiksha? "I'm here." Ziyu wiped away her tears and replied with a strong smile. It was like the spring breeze brushing against the water, extremely moving. Lei Shuyong was stunned. This was the first time he had seen Ziyu smiling so happily. Such a beautiful smile was like the smile of a fairy from the 9 heavens, making all living things in the world pale in comparison. "I don't believe that I can't deal with a puny human like you." Night kill. The top-notch heavenly yiksha had lost its patience. It displayed the talent of yiksha's feet and disappeared into the night, launching a sneak attack on Yang Wu. Yang Wu noticed that the top-notch heavenly yiksha had disappeared, but he did not panic at all. Instead, he revealed a strong killing intent and said, "You've hurt my woman. Even if you're the heavenly king, you'll still have to die." Abruptly, the Tao of Death was fully unleashed, encompassing the area within a range of several lis. No living creature would be able to escape its influence. The top-notch heavenly yiksha, which had just gotten close to Yang Wu, sensed that its vitality was being stripped away. It panicked for some reason, not understanding what was going on. While it was in a daze, Yang Wu sensed its existence and opened up his soul eye. Invisible soul annihilation light landed on the top-notch heavenly yiksha's forehead. Soul eye stripping. The top-notch heavenly yiksha was stunned on the spot. The son of heaven's sword, which carried with it intense blue flames, turned into a meteor and slashed across its neck. Chapter 5:25. The top-notch heavenly yiksha's head was chopped off. Its head and the Knight St. Pearl were both grabbed by Yang Wu. Its body plunged down from a high altitude, and a lot of black blood flowed down like rain. Everyone's mouths were agape, and their eyes were wide open as they looked at this scene in disbelief. Earlier, they had still felt that Yang Wu was not a match for the top-notch heavenly yiksha, and had even mocked him for being weak. In the blink of an eye, Yang Wu had killed it. The impact was too great. They guessed that this slug bug could be some kind of terrifying female venomous bug that Yang Wu had summoned to bite the top-notch heavenly yiksha. Was that why he was able to kill it in one go? They only returned to their senses after a very long time and cried out in surprise. A top-notch heavenly yiksha has been killed. Is this real? This martial heavenly king is too terrifying. He really lives up to his reputation. The #1 position on the heavenly king ranking is probably his for sure. He probably has a terrifying female venomous bug by his side, one that even a top-notch heavenly yiksha can't fend off. Otherwise, I don't believe that he would be able to kill a top-notch heavenly yiksha head-on. No matter how he killed it, it's definitely his strength. Anyway, I don't have such strength. I believe that most people don't have such strength either. Didn't you guys notice that he opened his third eye? Could that be the innate talent of the female venomous bug? Everyone could not figure out what that female venomous bug was. They were all suspecting that it was a powerful venomous bug that Yang Wu had reared. The real slug bug soared into the sky, and she cried out in joy, "Brother Wu." No one could stop her, not even Lei Shuyong. That was the longing she had for him after almost 3 years. Not only did it not fade away with the flow of time, but it had also become increasingly intense. She deliberately burst out, and no one could stop it. However, Lei Shuyang was the holy son of the Purple Firmament Hall after all. After a brief moment of absent-mindedness, he soared into the sky and swept towards Yu Yu. He appeared in front of her one step ahead and shouted, Yu Yu, you are my fiancé. This is something that the hall has already confirmed. Get out of the way. I'm not your fiancé. Brother Wu is my fiancé. Other than him, I won't marry anyone else. Just give up, Ziyu said firmly. Lei Shuyang revealed a ferocious expression and said, What if he dies? Who wants to curse me to die? Yang Wu flew over and said faintly. He had already seen Ziyu. His originally happy mood was completely ruined by Lei Shuyang's words. He recalled how Zi Qi had brought people from the Purple Firmament Hall to humiliate him, and he immediately concluded that it was this person who had ordered her to do so. Brother Wu, Ziyu cried out in alarm and threw herself at Yang Wu. Unexpectedly, Lei Shuyang grabbed her hand and stopped her from going to Yang Wu's side. Yang Wu was furious. He shouted in alarm, Let go of the slug. After hearing Yang Wu's words, the crowd of geniuses staggered and fell to the ground, as if they had suffered a great blow. Goddess Ziyu, Purple Fairy, was the female poisonous bug? What kind of joke was this? Yang Wu's words were an insult to their goddess. Let go of me. Ziyu glared at Lei Shuyang and shouted. She had used too much strength and blood was flowing from her mouth. Without waiting for Lei Shuyang to reply, Yang Wu had already made his move. Those who touch my woman will die. Yang Wu and Ziyu had played together since they were young. The two of them had already pledged their lives to each other. After being separated for so long, it was rare for them to meet again. However, they were repeatedly obstructed by others. Even an immortal would be enraged. Yang Wu did not hold back in his attacks. He was like a barbaric tiger coming down from the mountains, biting and tearing at Lei Shuyang. He was unstoppable. Lei Shuyang reacted very quickly and condensed a lightning fist to block Yang Wu. The power of lightning was extremely domineering. Lei Shuyang laughed coldly in his heart. Take this opportunity to cripple him. Bang! The two fists collided, and it was as if two mountains had collided. A dull sound rang out, and it was quite shocking. Lei Shuyang was sent flying, but he continued to hold Ziyu, not letting go. It was not that Lei Shuyang was weak, but that he had been attacked by a top-notch heavenly yiksha and had yet to fully recover from his injuries. Furthermore, Yang Wu had come with great momentum. It was normal for Yang Wu to gain the upper hand. Let go of the slug. Yang Wu let out a surprised bellow and charged down like a barbaric tiger, smashing out toward Lei Shuyang's arm. The dense fist intent was astonishing, and it was impossible for Lei Shuyang to continue holding on to Ziyu unless he did not wish to live anymore. Lei Shuyang shook off Ziyu and went all out to meet Yang Wu head-on. Purple electricity circled around his entire body, and he sent out his extremely domineering lightning fist, completely blocking Yang Wu's barbaric tiger fist. He wanted to fight it out with Yang Wu. Countless fist forces kept on colliding, and many powers kept on bursting out. Even the sky seemed to be shaking incessantly. Lei Shuyang was beaten back by Yang Wu, and no one dared to doubt that Yang Wu's battle prowess was not up to par anymore. Ziyu wanted to dissuade him, but when she saw that Yang Wu had gained the upper hand, she decided not to say anything. She knew that Yang Wu was a competitive person. Since he had already made his move, they should just let them fight to the end. Ziyu watched the battle while doing her best to recuperate. She thought to herself, Brother Wu has become so strong. He must have suffered a lot over the years. Ziyu had been by Yang Wu's side since she was young. She knew Yang Wu's abilities very well. Yang Wu had always been very hardworking and motivated. It was a pity that his martial physique was not outstanding. In Great Xia, he might be considered above average, but in the world of transcendence, he could not even be compared to ordinary villagers. Right now, for Yang Wu to be able to become a top-notch Earth-Sea realm cultivator and kill a top-notch heavenly yiksha, he must have had a fortuitous encounter. However, no matter what, to be able to reach his current realm through a fortuitous encounter, he would have to go through a lot of hardships in order to become stronger. How could his cultivation journey be smooth sailing? At the thought of this, She could not help but feel sorry for Yongwu. When she was very young, from the moment he had disregarded everything to save her from the water, her heart had been tied to him. That winter, she was still a 5-year-old girl. She was playing by a pond not far from her home. In the end, the ground was too slippery and she fell into the pond. No one in her family had noticed this. Only a little boy about her age had seen it. He had jumped into the ice-cold pond to save her without any regard for his own safety. She had been scared out of her wits when she fell into the water. When she sensed that someone had saved her, she hugged the other party tightly, almost drowning together with him. Thankfully, this little boy was very intelligent. Before he had jumped into the pond, he had grabbed onto a vine growing by the shore. He had relied on his weak strength to pull on that vine, barely sending them back to the shore. After the little boy had saved her, he had fainted from exhaustion. From then on, the little girl had deeply imprinted this little boy's appearance in her heart. Brother Wu, at that time, why were you so brave to jump into the water to save me? Even if flowers and plants fell into the water, I would still save them. What's more, you are a chubby little girl. I was afraid that you would crush the little fishes in the pond to death. They would be so pitiful, so hateful. How am I fat? In the future, you'll be my savior. As the ancient saying goes, a drop of water will be repaid with a gushing spring. Since you have saved me, I will repay you with my body. You are so fat, I don't like it. I like tall girls like Sister Lon Xin. In the future, I will also be as tall as Sister Lon Xin. Okay, if that's the case, I will take you as my concubine. No, I want to be your wife. The more Ziyu you thought about it, the more beautiful the smile on her face became. Everything in the world paled in comparison. At this moment, the battle between Yang Wu and Lei Shuyang had reached its climax. Yang Wu had already refined the speedy elixir, and his speed was incomparable. He was determined to beat Lei Shuyang, so he didn't give him too many chances. He used his unparalleled speed and used his domineering barbaric fists to crazily attack Lei Shuyang. He broke his heavenly scale armor and beat him until he was looking for his claws on the ground. The dignified purple firmament hall's Saint Sun was beaten up like this. It was truly shocking. However, Lei Shuyang wasn't simple. He was able to become the purple firmament hall's Saint Sun, and he possessed extraordinary talent. If he wasn't injured previously, he wouldn't be beaten up by Yang Wu so easily. A ball of thunderbolt energy burst out from his body and forcefully blasted Yang Wu away. If I don't kill you today, I swear I am not human. Lei Shuyang drew out his unique combat weapon, the Thunderbolt Dagger Axe, and brandished his top-grade heavenly skill. He attracted the heavenly thunder and attacked Yang Wu with all his strength. Unstoppable Thunderbolt. When Lei Shuyang attacked with all his might, the heavens and earth lost their color. The Thunderbolt energy was enough to flatten several mountains. With just this move, Yang Wu could feel that Lei Shuyang was much stronger than Kun Lazy, whom he had met before. At this moment, Yang Wu couldn't use his speed to attack Lei Shuyang. He was surrounded by the Thunderbolt energy, and if he couldn't block it, he would die. Big Brother Wu. Ziyi was very worried. She wanted to rush in and save Yang Wu, but she hesitated and didn't do it in the end. She saw that Yang Wu was holding the Night Saint Pearl. This small Saint Pearl had extraordinary power, and Lei Shuyang's Thunderbolt energy was nothing to be afraid of. As expected, after these heavenly thunders met with the Night Saint Pearl, they were all pushed away. They couldn't target Yang Wu at all. Only Lei Shuyang's power was still attacking Yang Wu. Without the power of the heavenly thunder, Lei Shuyang's attack wasn't even qualified to break through Yang Wu's defense. Yang Wu closed in again, raised his palm, and slapped at Lei Shuyang. Slap! Lei Shuyang was sent flying. This slap is your punishment for touching my woman. Slap! This slap is your punishment for stopping me from catching up with the slug. Slap! This slap is a warning to you to never touch my woman again. Otherwise, you will die. 3 slaps. The slaps were so clear that everyone could hear it. Lei Shuyang even had the thought of dying. When had he, the saint of the Purple Firmament Palace, suffered such humiliation? The people of the Purple Firmament Palace were furious. They all flew towards Yang Wu, ready to join forces to deal with Yang Wu. I, Lei Shuyang, swear that if I don't kill you, I'm not human. Thunder God, descend, give me power. Lei Shuyang was unable to restrain his anger. He activated his battle rune talent and shot a beam of power into the sky. Heavenly lightning was attracted and submerged in Lei Shuyang's body. The vast power forced Yang Wu to retreat. Ziyu shouted at Yang Wu, "Big Brother Wu, run." Chapter 5:26. Lei Shuyang was ranked 4th on the Heavenly King rankings and was also the Purple Firmament Palace's saint. He would definitely not be defeated easily, especially when he was humiliated by Yang Wu. He was even more unwilling to accept the fact that he had failed. Therefore, he used his strongest trump card, Thunder God's Descent. He used his innate battle runes to receive the heavenly Thunder God's powers and strengthen his powers to retaliate. This move drew in the power of the heavenly thunder and could only last for half a quarter of an hour. After half a quarter of an hour, his body would suffer a backlash, and he would lose all his combat strength in a short period of time. Before his life was in danger, Lei Shuyang would never use such a trump card. However, this innate talent that could increase one's battle prowess within a short period of time was a lot weaker than the backlash that Yang Wu had received from consuming the Violent King elixir. Moreover, there were very few repercussions. As long as he rested for a suitable period of time, he would be able to recover. It was just that he would not be able to utilize this innate potential within a month. Numerous streams of majestic heavenly thunder gods' powers channeled into the battle runes on Lei Shuyang's forehead. His battle prowess increased crazily. His powers at the late stages of the elementary heavenly fish realm instantly broke through to the middle stages of the heavenly fish realm and continued to soar. Very soon, he reached the pinnacle of the middle stages of the heavenly fish realm and was just one step away from the advanced stages. At the sight of this scene, all the geniuses gasped. Is this the Purple Firmament Palace's Saint's Trump card? It feels so terrifying. He's receiving the heavenly thunder god's powers for his own use. This is even more terrifying than receiving the heavenly thunder god's powers to kill his enemies. I really don't know how his body can withstand it. As expected of a heavenly king who can rank in the top 10. If he had used this move right from the start, even top-notch heavenly Ikshas would probably not be a match for him. That's not the case. He should only be able to use this move under certain circumstances. Moreover, there's definitely a huge time limit. The martial heavenly king is very powerful, but can he be compared to the current Lei Shuyang? Yang Wu did not leave. He smiled at Ziyu Yu and said, "It's fine. No matter what he does, he won't be a match for me." This was not conceit, but absolute confidence. Ziyu Yu quickly rushed to Yang Wu's side, tugged at him, and said, "I'll explain it to you after we leave this place. He's invincible in this state." Yang Wu, his hand touched by Suyu Yu's touch, he touched her face. She did not dodge his hand. What his hand's palm felt. His palm touch his face. Her did not dodge his hand touch her tender and smooth fangs as he touched her. Fangs Xian Yu's fangs. Although it wasn't the first time Yang Wu had done this to her, it had been nearly 3 years. Being touched by him again made her heart beat very fast. A different kind of feeling flowed through her body. Words couldn't describe the sweetness and happiness she felt at this moment. "Get away from you." Lei Shuyang finished accumulating energy. His eyes were emitting purple lightning as he shouted loudly. He turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed towards Yang Wu. Before Yang Wu could react, his lightning fist had already landed on Yang Wu's face. Bang! Yang Wu suffered a heavy blow. His body rolled far away. Ziyu Yu was so scared that her face turned pale. She cried out in pain, "Big Brother Wu!" She did not even think. She spread out her purple lightning wings and flew towards Yang Wu. She took out her purple lightning sword. Her beautiful eyes were filled with killing intent. She wanted to kill Lei Shuyang. Yang Wu could make the world his enemy for her. She could also kill anyone for Yang Wu. In her life, other than her family, no one could compare to Yang Wu's position in her heart. Lei Shuyang's strength had increased by a lot, and his speed had also increased by several times. One after another, lightning fists containing boundless power crazily bombarded Yangwu. These lightning fists not only contained the pure power of heavenly thunder, but also contained a dense fist intent. Each fist was earth-shattering and earth-shattering, overturning rivers and seas. This time, it was Yangwu's turn to be beaten up. Lei Shuyang was determined to kill Yangwu. He did not leave any leeway. Every punch landed on flesh, and blood splattered everywhere. Ziyu drew a lightning-like sword beam and stabbed towards Lei Shuyang's back. Unfortunately, her sword energy was not able to injure Lei Shuyang. There was a strong, rebounding force that bounced her power back. Lei Shuyang, if you dare to kill Big Brother Wu, I will kill you. Ziyu was furious. She ignored her injuries and activated her heavenly thunderbone muscles. Her entire body flickered with purple light. Like Lei Shuyang, she was prepared to receive the heavenly thunder into her body and kill Lei Shuyang. The people from the Purple Heaven Hall felt a headache coming on. One was a saint's son, and the other was a saint daughter. Who should they help? They simply didn't stop them and let the two of them settle it on their own. They were dissatisfied with Yangwu. Just now, Yangwu whipped Lei Shuyang like that. It was no different from slapping their faces. Furthermore, they were optimistic that Lei Shuyang and Ziyu would be together. Yangwu had become the third party that interfered. It was unforgivable. Without waiting for Ziyu to receive the heavenly thunder into her body, Yangwu activated his ice blade wings and slashed towards Lei Shuyang. Lei Shuyang was only focused on killing Yangwu. He did not expect that Yangwu would have such a method. When the ice blade wings cut into his heavenly scale armor, he sensed danger and quickly retreated. He narrowly avoided the ice blade wings strangulation. However, his abdomen was still sliced open. Furthermore, the extremely cold ice threads had seeped into his body and affected the circulation of his strength and blood qi. He had no choice but to circulate his thunder power to expel the cold qi from his body. Yangwu obtained a chance to catch his breath. He shouted at Ziyu, "Yu, go to the side. This is a matter between men. It is not a woman's place to interfere." Yangwu's injuries were not light. However, to him, they were merely superficial wounds. He had suffered from the invasion of the blood fiends in the blood dragon pool, shedding off several layers of his skin and flesh. It was not for nothing. It was equivalent to tempering his body over and over again. His skin and flesh were extremely tough. Even an expert at the high level of the heavenly fish realm would not be able to do so. Moreover, he was mostly immune to Lei Shuyang's heavenly thunder power. What had injured him was only the power and fist intent of an expert at the peak of the middle level of the heavenly fish realm. Yangwu circulated the supreme 9 mysteries formula, and the power in his body circulated for a few cycles. His injuries were quickly healed, and the speed of his recovery was several times faster than before. This was due to the increase in his realm, as well as the strengthening of the wisp of immortal qi in his body. Brother Wu, he has borrowed the power of the Thunder God. You won't be a match for him within 15 minutes. Let me help you, Ziyu reminded. With my current strength, even a top-notch heavenly yiksha won't be a match for me. Lei Shuyang laughed maniacally. He then looked at Yangwu and said, "Kneel down and admit your mistake. Swear that you won't pester Yu anymore, and I'll give you a chance to live." Lei Shuyang was very satisfied with his condition. He felt that it would not be a problem for him to kill Yangwu instantly. The reason why he had beaten up Yangwu earlier was just to vent his anger. If he had used his weapon, he would have taken Yangwu down. "Is that so? I was the one who killed the top-notch heavenly yiksha," Yangwu said with a cold smile. He then threw a glance at Ziyu and said, "Trust me. Step to the side." Ziyu could sense that Yangwu was determined and did not continue to persuade him. She knew very well that Yangwu was a male chauvinist. Once he had decided on something, he would not change his mind easily. She respected him. This should be your trump card, right? However, its strength isn't even enough to tickle me. Yangwu's gaze once again landed on Lei Shuyang and said, "That was just a warm-up. Since you insist on going about things the wrong way, then you shall die here." Lei Shuyang revealed a savage expression and said. He held onto the lightning dagger axe and pierced out toward Yang Wu. Swoosh! In that instant, the lightning power from the dagger axe landed on Yang Wu's heart, wanting to penetrate through Yang Wu's heart. Yang Wu shifted his body to the side, narrowly dodging this power. The battle blood talent in his body seethed, and the blue-colored profound wings flashed as he dashed out toward Lei Shuyang. The Son of Heaven's sword appeared in his hand, and he pierced out with the nameless sword stance. A sword skill that was like a meteor turned into a dazzling rainbow that instantly arrived on Lei Shuyang's body. The nameless sword stance's power was boundless, and it required the activation of sword intent to unleash its power. As Yang Wu's realm increased, the power of this sword became even more powerful. Lei Shuyang's combat strength had increased a lot, but he still could not completely dodge this move. Yang Wu's sword pierced through his shoulder, and a large piece of flesh was sent flying. Blood gushed out, and even his shoulder bone was exposed. If Lei Shuyang had dodged a little slower, his life would have been in danger. Dying. Lei Shuyang felt pain. Lightning power seemed to flow out of his eyes, and his entire body carried the power of heavenly lightning as he crazily attacked Yang Wu. His every move was accompanied by the power of heavenly thunder. This was the power of the five-blow thunderstruck, which was extremely shocking. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't be able to fight with such a peerless genius who carried heavenly thunder at all times. His attacks were enough of a headache, not to mention that there were many heavenly thunders that kept falling. In the eyes of outsiders, Yang Wu was not fighting with a person, but with a sea of heavenly lightning. It was a frightening sight. In a corner, Kuan Lazy looked at the battle above and muttered in his heart, "I'm not as good as Lei Shuyang. Junior brother, don't be discouraged. You have the ability to do what he did." An ordinary-looking man beside Kuan Lazy said faintly, "No, if I can only do what he did, I will never surpass him. I want to surpass him. After this is over, I will go to the Thunder Dominion." Kuan Lazy said with a firm expression, "The Thunder Dominion is a forbidden area. You have to think carefully. If you don't risk your life, how can you reach the peak of martial arts? Okay, if the Sect Master hears you, he will definitely praise you." Qing Jing stabilized her injuries and woke up from her coma. She looked at Yang Wu, who was fighting in the sky, and prayed, "Senior brother Yang will win." The nuns of the Hung Mountain sect also prayed for Yang Wu. Senior brother Yang will win. Yang Wu saved them again and again, and they were grateful. Only Qing Jing's heart was not as calm. She was really worried about Yang Wu's safety, and she hated the person who was fighting with Yang Wu from the bottom of her heart. This was a personal thought that she had never had before. Chapter 5:27. Yang Wu's battle with Lei Shuyang was not as simple as defeating Lei Shuyang. It was also to show his strength to the people of the Purple Cloud Palace and tell them that he was qualified and capable enough to be worthy of Zuu. Therefore, he could only win this battle. He could not lose. Lei Shuyang had used his innate talent, heavenly thunder infusion, to increase his combat strength and the boundless heavenly thunder to help him. Even an advanced heavenly fish realm expert would be killed. He was very confident that he could easily kill Yang Wu. Who would have thought that Yang Wu was like a cockroach that could not be killed? Under the bombardment of many heavenly thunders, Yang Wu was still safe and sound. Moreover, Yang Wu was evenly matched with him, which made him extremely depressed. If he could not finish off Yang Wu in 15 minutes, he would definitely be defeated. He cursed in his heart. How can this kid withstand the power of my thunder? In fact, Yang Wu was not having an easy battle at all. He had already activated his war blood talent to the maximum and activated 15 times his combat strength. His meteor sword skill was at its strongest, but he was still attacked by Lei Shuyang's heavenly thunder. If he had not been frequently struck by heavenly thunder, he would have been defeated long ago. He had not used his innate talent to counterattack because he wanted to test how much his combat strength had reached. Now, it seemed that he should be able to kill an intermediate heavenly fish realm expert and fight against an advanced one. Lei Xiong became more and more anxious as he fought. His time was almost up. He wanted to use his final trump card to kill Yang Wu. His battle runes flickered as a large amount of heavenly thunder power gathered on the lightning dagger, condensing into 7 lightning pearls. The 7 pearls joined together and turned into a lightning dragon that roared at Yang Wu. 7-pearl lightning dragon. This attack was Lei Xiong's most powerful attack. It contained all the heavenly thunder power he had attracted. The appearance of the 7-pearl lightning dragon meant that there would be 7 consecutive waves of attacks. No one could stop it. Yang Wu could feel that Lei Xiong was going all out, so he no longer held back. One of the petals of the divine court Tao flower's power surged, and the Tao of death was fully released. The power of the Son of Heaven soared in his hand, condensed dark force, sword intent, and the Tao of death. He continuously stabbed out boundless sword light, preparing to kill the lightning dragon. Rumble, rumble. The 7 thunder dragon pearls contained the power to destroy the heaven and earth. They exploded crazily, and the sky seemed like it was going to collapse. Everywhere was filled with the power of thunder and lightning. Many of the sword lights were all shattered and couldn't form any destructive power. I'm the son of the thunder god, and I control the power of lightning punishment. Who can rival me? Who can match him? Lei Xiong shouted with a crazed look on his face. In the end, the Tao of death was still a martial Tao. It carried a wisp of sword light that broke through the layers of lightning power and landed on Lei Xiong's body, robbing him of his vitality and rapidly weakening his aura. Lei Xiong was scared out of his wits. The higher the level of a martial artist, the more sensitive they were to the loss of their vitality. When one's vitality was lost for no reason, no matter who it was, they would be shocked. This was the power of the Tao of death. Slash! Yang Wu withstood wave after wave of heavenly thunder bombardment. When the thunder force decreased, the ice blade wings attacked again and directly slashed at Lei Xiong. This time, Lei Xiong couldn't dodge the attack of the ice blade wings. His body was almost cut in half. At the crucial moment, the powerful thunder force on his body blocked most of the attack, allowing him to survive. Yang Wu circulated the 9 Thunders body tempering art. He dragged his charred body that was covered in lightning and chased after Lei Xiong. He didn't intend to give Lei Xiong any chance to escape. At this moment, Lei Xiong's time to absorb the power of the heavenly thunder ended. Many heavenly thunders scattered from his body, and his aura plummeted. The people of the purple firmament palace panicked. Someone shouted, "Save the saint's son." Dozens of people from the purple firmament palace rushed up at the same time. Some of them shot out arrows in advance to block Yang Wu. Some threw out thunder explosion pearls to block Yang Wu with all their strength. Rumble. Whether it was the arrows or the thunder explosion pearls, they did stop Yang Wu from chasing after Lei Xiong. He could dodge the arrows, but the explosion of the thunder explosion pearls was too powerful. No matter how fast he dodged, he was still affected. Half of his body was numb from the explosion. If his body was a little weaker, he would definitely die. Yang Wu took a deep breath. The immortal qi in his body flowed and quickly nourished his injuries. In an instant, he recovered 30%. He glared at the purple firmament palace's prodigies who were surrounding him. The death aura shrouded this part of the world. The prodigies who were facing him were immediately affected inexplicably. Their vitality was drained, and their souls were weakened. Feeling this suffocating feeling of death, they lost their fighting spirit. At this moment, Yang Wu could kill more than a few people. Just as he attacked, Ziyu shouted, "Brother Wu, don't kill them." Yang Wu stopped decisively. He could ignore the words of others, but he had to listen to Ziyu. He didn't want to make things difficult for her. When the Tao of death was retracted, the purple firmament palace's prodigies felt as if they had taken a trip to the gates of hell. Moreover, their vitality was indeed corroded by the death aura. Even if it wasn't serious, it still happened. Someone pointed at Yang Wu and shouted in horror, "You are from the King of Hell's Palace." "What King of Hell's Palace? I don't know what you're talking about," Yang Wu said with a puzzled expression. "Don't try to argue. Only the people from the King of Hell's Palace know the Tao of death. "You are definitely from the king of Hell's palace," the purple firmament palace's prodigy shouted. At this moment, all the prodigies heard this prodigy's words. Many of them revealed a strong sense of enmity towards Yangwu. In the transcendent world, the king of Hell's palace was the strongest representative of the evil sections. They were equally famous as the Longevity Palace and Purple Firmament Palace. They possessed an extremely large amount of power. They cultivated extremely evil martial arts, especially the Tao of Death. It was the main martial Tao that the current king of Hell's palace master cultivated. It could instantly deprive others of their vitality and cause them to die of old age. It was incomparably terrifying. It was precisely this kind of martial Tao that harmed the human Tao that was the most hated in the transcendent world. Once the people from the king of Hell's palace appeared, they would definitely avoid them as if they were the plague. They definitely wouldn't get close to them or attack them as a group. They wouldn't give the king of Hell's palace a chance to make things difficult for them. Ordinary sects wouldn't dare to touch the people from the king of Hell's palace. Once they were targeted by them, their entire sect would basically be exterminated. Only those large forces would dare to challenge the king of Hell's palace. Yang Wu frowned and said, "Think whatever you want. This prince doesn't have the time to explain it to you. If it wasn't for you, I would have killed all of you. Saintus, I don't know what your relationship with him is, but please stay away from him. You should have heard of the king of Hell's palace's Tao of Death. Getting close to him means betraying our Purple Firmament Palace." The prodigy from the Purple Firmament Palace said to Yu Yu. Yu Yu shook her head and said, "No, Brother Wu wouldn't be someone from the king of Hell's palace. You must be mistaken. The king of Hell's palace's Tao of Death is extremely vicious. Our vitality has been deprived. Fortunately, he hasn't cultivated it to the large success stage. If he did, we would have become old men. Saintus, you must wake up." The prodigy from the Purple Firmament Palace said. "Do you really want to cause trouble?" Yang Wu shouted at the prodigy and wanted to take him down. The people from the Purple Firmament Palace weren't cowards. The dozens of people once again surrounded Yang Wu, wanting to work together to kill him. Who knew that the sky-severing sect Saintus would rush over and say, "Whoever wants to deal with my master is my enemy." The sky-severing sect Saintus still had her face covered, but her soul-stealing eyes were as enchanting as waves. Her slender and sexy figure and jade-like skin were incomparably alluring. Even if one didn't look at her face, her figure was enough to instantly kill many women. Yang Wu was stunned by the sky-severing sect's Saintus words. Everyone else was astonished. They had long forgotten that she was Yang Wu's maid. Now, the sky-severing sect Saintus had taken the initiative to say this, which was simply unbelievable. Moreover, they had never heard of any relationship between the sky-severing sect and the king of Hell's palace. Even if they were both evil sects, they didn't interfere with each other's business. What was going on now? Yu Yu's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of vigilance as she looked at the sky-severing sect Saintus. For a moment, she didn't understand the relationship between Yang Wu and the other party. "Beautiful maid, I thought you didn't remember me," Yang Wu said to the sky-severing sect Saintus. The sky-severing sect Saintus leaned closer to Yang Wu and said coquettishly, "No way. I just saw Master's power and liked it very much. I want to be your beautiful maid for the rest of my life. I can't let you be seduced by other vixens." What are you talking about?" Yang Wu subconsciously glanced at Yu Yu, afraid that she would misunderstand. Yu Yu calmly asked Yang Wu, "Brother Wu, did you really use the path of death just now?" Yang Wu didn't hide it from Yu Yu. He nodded and said, "That's right. It was the path of death." The Purple Heaven Palace's genius immediately said loudly. Everyone heard it. He cultivated the path of death of the king of Hell's palace. Since he's from the king of Hell's palace, everyone has the right to kill him. Someone said faintly as he flew up and locked onto Yang Wu. He was cool lazy. "That's right. Everyone from the king of Hell's palace should be killed." Another person agreed. It was Mount Shu sect's little sword fairy, Long Zihen. Everyone in Shushan was a righteous person. They hated the evil and crooked path very much, especially the people from king of Hell's palace. Someone from Shushan had once killed people from King of Hell's palace, but the people from King of Hell's palace took revenge on them. If it weren't for their strong foundation, they would have been wiped out by King of Hell's palace. Since then, the two major forces had long been incompatible. Brother Wu, are you really from the King of Hell's palace? Ziyu asked in disbelief. I don't know what the King of Hell's palace is. Are you trying to frame me? Yang Wu denied. It doesn't matter if you're from the King of Hell's palace or not. Just surrender. My Dragon Tiger sect's unique skills are never taught to outsiders. I'm going to take you back to the sect for interrogation. The Dragon Tiger sect's little celestial master, Yilong, also flew up and said, Yang Jie and the Proud Sword, 5 heroes panicked. They knew Yang Wu. Yang Wu definitely didn't look like a ruthless person like the King of Hell's palace. Yang Jie rushed up and shouted, He's not from the King of Hell's palace. He's from the Yang clan. The Yang clan used to be a famous ancient aristocratic family. Even though it had declined, its prestige was still there. Qing Jing was no longer silent. She opened her mouth and said, Senior Brother Yang is definitely not from the King of Hell's palace. Chapter 528. Yang Jie represented the Yang family, proving that Yang Wu was a member of the Yang family. Unfortunately, his words had no weight. However, Qing Jing's words were different. She was originally an insignificant nun, but she had the purifying lotus heart. Countless evil powers were expelled by her, and all the geniuses owed her a debt of gratitude. Fan Ren of Mount Tai said, Junior Sister Qing Jing, you just left the sect and don't know the dangers of the martial world. This person uses the Tao of Death, so he is a member of the King of Hell's palace. Their hands are stained with the blood of countless people, and they have killed countless people to be able to condense the Tao of Death. You don't have to worry about this. Someone else from the Mount Hua sect said, That's right. Junior Sister Qing Jing, be careful with your words. Cultivating the Tao of Death is making an enemy of everyone in the world. He should be killed. Young Hall King, please take him down before he matures. In the eyes of the geniuses, Yang Wu was unpardonable, and everyone should kill him. After all, Yang Wu was a dark horse, and no one in the transcendent realm had heard of his name. He had suddenly appeared out of nowhere, stolen the limelight of all the heavenly kings, obtained the Knight's St. Pearl, and even snatched away their goddess, Yu Yu. The sky-severing sect's saintess was his servant, and all of this made them very jealous. Brother Wu, let's go first. Yu Yu wanted to pull Yang Wu away. She believed that Yang Wu was not a member of the King of Hell's palace, but her heart was somewhat shaken. If Yang Wu was not a member of the King of Hell's palace, how could he rise up so quickly? Yang Wu calmly said, Yu Yu, don't be anxious. I am not a member of the King of Hell's palace, so it won't be so easy for them to slander me. Pausing for a moment, he scanned the crowd and shouted, I don't know why you're so sure that I'm from the King of Hell's palace just because I possess the Tao of Death. However, Yang Wu, won't bother to explain myself to you. That's because I don't know any of you, and I don't have any enmity with any of you. If any of you want to kill me, Yang Wu, I'll definitely kill you. Yang Wu's voice was sonorous, and his qi was earth-shattering. He had the courage to hold back all the heaven's favorites. Don't think that just because you've cultivated the Tao of Death, you can look down on us heroes. If you know what's good for you, you'll surrender. That heaven's pride from the Purple Cloud Palace taunted again. Without waiting for him to finish, Yang Wu dashed over at full speed. Everyone only saw a blur before he appeared next to the heaven's pride from the Purple Cloud Palace. He grabbed his throat with one hand and said coldly, You're bringing disaster to everyone with your lies. Believe it or not, I'll kill you right now. Yang Wu didn't bother to explain. However, if he wanted to survive in the transcendent world, he didn't want to become a rat that everyone wanted to kill. Brother Wu, don't kill Senior Brother Zhao. Purple Yu Yu said anxiously. If Yang Wu really killed her senior brother, it would be difficult for her and Yang Wu to be together again. If you dare spout nonsense again, I'll kill you right now. Yang Wu snorted coldly and ruthlessly flung Zhao Yiming away. As a heaven's pride, Zhao Yiming had already reached the peak of the Earth-Sea realm. He was only a step away from the heavenly fish realm. He could fight and even win against an ordinary beginner heavenly fish realm expert. However, in front of Yang Wu, he didn't even have the chance to react before he was flung away by Yang Wu. This was something he couldn't accept. After he stabilized his body, he revealed a ferocious expression and shouted, "Yang Wu, you're from the king of Hell's palace. I'll kill you in the name of the Purple Cloud Palace." Zhao Yiming drew a battle saber. His entire body was surrounded by majestic celestial qi in an instant. He became one with the saber. A golden saber light, carrying a dense saber intent, slashed towards Yang Wu. This saber was at least 200 feet long. Golden light filled the sky and flashed in the sky. It carried the force of a thunderbolt as it broke through the sky. Purple Yu blocked Zhao Yiming's saber without hesitation. The purple flash sword in her hand slashed out a bolt of lightning and collided with the saber light. Rumble. A myriad of sparks appeared in the sky, forcing the geniuses in the surroundings to back off. Purple Yu had been injured by the top-notch heavenly yiksha to begin with, and had yet to fully recover. After forcefully blocking the saber attack for Yang Wu, her injuries worsened. Her body was sent flying from the impact, and she spurted out a mouthful of blood from her throat. Yang Wu had not expected that Yu would block the saber for him. He had thought that it would not be difficult for him to counterattack after the saber attack was right in front of him. However, due to his carelessness, he had caused Purple Yu to be injured a second time. He was completely infuriated. Yang Wu charged toward Purple Yu, planning to check on her injuries before making a fuss with Zhao Mingyi. However, Zhao Mingyi was not planning to give Yang Wu a chance. He bellowed, "Martial brothers and sisters, take good care of the saint. I'll apologize to the saint after I kill this guy from the king of Hell's palace." The moment his voice rang out, someone dashed out to stop Yang Wu, not allowing him to get close to Purple Yu. "The people from the king of Hell's palace aren't worthy of our saint. Kill." The people from the Purple Firmament Palace were all very unyielding. They did not feel fearful just because Lei Shuyang had been defeated by Yang Wu. Instead, their fighting spirit was aroused, and they wanted to fight against Yang Wu. This was a tragedy. Other than his family, the most important person in Yang Wu's heart was Purple Yu. She was injured in front of him, and this was even more painful than being injured by him. He wanted to know the extent of her injuries, and there was actually someone who dared to stop him. This person was truly courting death. Yang Wu did not even say anything. His entire body was surging with a dense killing intent. He sent out a barbaric fist that contained earth-shattering power. Barbaric Lion Fist. When this fist was sent out, it was as if a heavenly lion was roaring. The anger of the King of Beasts was instantly released, shocking everyone. The person who was blocking Yang Wu was even more frightened by Yang Wu's imposing manner. He only wanted to delay Yang Wu's footsteps. He never thought of risking his life to fight against Yang Wu. He made a move before Yang Wu, but his imposing manner was like heaven and earth compared to Yang Wu's. They were not on the same level at all. It was too late for him to increase his strength. Yang Wu's lion fist had already torn his body apart, and fresh blood splattered everywhere. A genius had fallen in an instant. Brother Wu. Purple Yu had just stabilized her body when she saw this scene. Her mind instantly went blank. The thing she did not want to see the most had happened. The people from the Purple Firmament Palace were extremely angry. Zhao Yiming roared, "He is indeed a ruthless bastard. Everyone, let's work together and kill him." Kill. Avenge Junior Brother. How ruthless. He even dares to kill people from the Purple Firmament Palace. He will not rest until he is dead. There were many people from the Purple Firmament Palace here. There were a total of 70 to 80 people, all of whom were in the Earthsea realm. There were also a few who had reached the Heavenly Fish realm. Although they were not as strong as Lei Shuyang, they were not weak either. They were all existences on the Heavenly King ranking. If they worked together, it would not be a problem for them to slaughter high-level Heavenly Fish realm experts. Some of them were charging forward on their mounts, while others were flying over with their profound wings. Each of them exploded with a different kind of power. However, most of them were using the power of thunder and lightning. This was the profound chi that the purple firmament palace mainly cultivated. In the blink of an eye, an earth-shattering power bombarded Yongwu. There were sharp sword radiances, overbearing saber radiances, and astonishing spear shadows. They were all disturbing and destroying everything. In the face of such an attack, Yongwu was not afraid at all. His sharp eyes clearly saw the flaws in these attacks. He moved with the swimming dragon steps and brushed past the sword radiance. He approached the Heaven's Pride, riding on the flying tiger, and slapped out a palm print with the power to break a river. The flying tiger was fiercely hit by his palm and died on the spot. There was no way it could withstand the power of Yongwu's palm. The Heaven's Pride reacted quickly. He rushed up and took the opportunity to slash at Yongwu's head. Before the sword fell on Yongwu's head, Yongwu had already grabbed his wrist and used him as a shield to block a spear that was coming from another corner. The man holding the spear didn't expect Yongwu to react so quickly. He couldn't withdraw his spear in time, and a bloody hole was fiercely pierced through his fellow disciple's body. Yongwu took the opportunity to use the river-breaking palm again. The torrential power of the river broke the arm of the man holding the spear. Then he grabbed the two of them and threw them toward the other attackers. Yongwu stared at Zhao Yiming and shouted, "Anyone who hurts my woman will die." Yongwu's killing intent soared. He turned into a swimming dragon and dodged wave after wave of attacks. His four wings flashed, and he went straight for Zhao Yiming. "Yongwu, you deserve to die." A Heaven's Pride in the heavenly fish realm shouted in shock and crazily bombarded Yongwu with a strong will of thunder and lightning. The power of 12 heavenly thunders was like a thunder snake raging toward Yongwu. This power was the full strength of a Heaven's Pride in the heavenly fish realm, which could split any mountain. The power of destruction was extremely domineering. Yongwu ignored the 12 heavenly thunders and rushed over. The 9 thunder body tempering technique absorbed the power of these heavenly thunders into his body and tempered it. He shouted disdainfully, "You're not even worthy of tickling me with your little strength." Yongwu was like a dragon. He turned his palm into a fist and broke 3 thunderbolts. The barbaric dragon fist hit the man's heart protection mirror. The man's heart protection mirror exploded, and a heavenly scale armor shattered. The man fell to the ground, and his blood dyed the sky red. Yongwu didn't have time to care about the man's life. He had already locked on to Zhao Yiming and must kill him. Ziyue hastily called out, "Stop fighting." At this time, Lei Shuyong had already jumped up again. He shouted, "You killed my fellow disciples. You, a villain from the King of Hell Palace, deserve to die." Lei Shuyong was seriously injured by Yongwu, but he had a little Saint Elixir on him. After taking one, his injuries had recovered by more than half. As the Saint of the Purple Heaven Palace, he couldn't accept losing to an unknown young man. He wanted to gather the power of all his comrades to kill Yongwu. Not only did he want to save face, but he also wanted to pour dirty water on Yongwu and completely push Yongwu and Ziyuyu to the opposite side. Only in this way would he have a chance to be with Ziyuyu. The people from the Purple Heaven Palace weren't to be trifled with. After hearing Lei Shuyong's words, they crazily surrounded and attacked Yongwu. Zhao Yiming, who was closest to Yongwu, shouted, "Do you really think you can defeat me? I'll let you see the power of my talent." Snake Scale Arm. Chapter 529. Geniuses, Heaven's Pride, and Peerless Heaven's Pride all had different levels. Those who were called geniuses all had extraordinary cultivation abilities. They were good cultivators in a county or city. Heaven's Pride was even more outstanding than geniuses. Their cultivation speed was several times faster than ordinary geniuses. There was a very obvious gap between the two. Peerless Heaven's Pride was needless to say. Not only were they talented in cultivation, but they were also peerless in love. They could also awaken their own potential and burst out with extraordinary abilities. Zhao Yiming had not broken through to the heavenly fish realm, but that did not mean that his talent was not as good as that of a peerless genius. The reason why he was stuck in the Earthsea realm was that he had to accumulate enough foundation to allow him to go further. The second reason was to focus on honing his talent. Snake Scale Arms. The snake scale arms was a talent that he had awakened after accidentally being poisoned by the snake demon. This talent greatly increased Zhao Yiming's combat effectiveness. Suddenly, Zhao Yiming's arms seemed to transform into two pythons with flickering scales on them. Raising their heads high, they spat out their tongues and pounced towards Yang Wu. Yang Wu felt that the power erupting from Zhao Yiming's arms was enough to threaten those in the heavenly fish realm. But to him, it was nothing. He punched out with the strength of a bull, and a bull seemed to appear in the sky to fight with the two snakes. The bull's strength was overbearing, and its surging momentum was unstoppable. The two snakes were agile and had amazing entanglement. The snakes coiled around the bull, trying to strangle the bull to death. Unexpectedly, the bull's strength exceeded its binding power, and the bull's hooves crushed the snakes. Zhao Yiming's snake-scaled arms were much stronger than ordinary celestial soldiers. Even if a celestial soldier slashed at his arms, it would not be able to injure him easily. However, Yang Wu's fists had managed to do so. His arms were broken, and the snake's scales fell off one by one as blood splattered everywhere. Yang Wu wanted to kill Zhao Yiming further, but the attacks of the other people from the Purple Heaven Palace had already enveloped him. He could no longer dodge. Ha! Yang Wu, although you've injured me, the one who's going to die is you. Zhao Yiming frantically retreated, laughing loudly. Just now, he had risked his life to lure Yang Wu into his trap. He had used all his strength to block Yang Wu's attack, causing Yang Wu to be unable to dodge the other's attacks in time and inevitably be killed. Die! Yang Wu didn't panic. He stared at Zhao Yiming and shouted. His voice was like the judgment of the king of hell. If he wanted Zhao Yiming to die now, he wouldn't be able to wait until the next moment. Soul Eye Extermination. Zhao Yiming's third eye appeared, and the soul-destroying light beam instantly entered the space between his eyebrows. Zhao Yiming's expression was one of terror, but in the next moment, his soul was extinguished by the light beam. His mind went blank, and his body fell from midair. Rumble, rumble. Yang Wu was bombarded by dozens of geniuses. All kinds of different forces intertwined, forming a mushroom-shaped mass. The explosion caused the clouds in the sky to disperse. The destructive power was so shocking that even an advanced heavenly fish realm expert would be seriously injured if not killed by such a heavy blow. Yang Wu was wearing a heaven-level defensive armor, which he had plundered from others. Under this round of bombardment, the defensive armor burst open, and the clothes on his body were destroyed, revealing his strong and smooth chest. This was a dust-free body that had been tempered by many medicinal herbs, heart fire, and heavenly thunder. Even without the heaven-level armor, he could still withstand these attacks. However, these attacks still left wounds on his body. Blood seeped from his skin and flesh, making him look like a bloody man. He looked very frightening. Not only did these wounds not frighten Yang Wu, but they also aroused the warlike bloodline in his body. His combat strength increased crazily, and the power of the blood evil mystic essence chi was released. The thick blood evil aura immediately made the surrounding people feel suffocated and uncomfortable. A pair of battle weapons appeared in his hands, the two-edged three-dragon spear and the Son of Heaven sword. His eyes were scarlet as he roared. You force me to kill. Yang Wu's 4 wings turned into 2 wings. One of the wings turned invisible, and he slashed toward the 2 people closest to him. Puff, puff. The invisible killing power of the ice blade wings was unstoppable. 2 geniuses died on the spot. Yang Wu was like a barbaric dragon. He rushed toward the 2 geniuses who had attacked him the most fiercely with his 2 weapons. They were both heavenly fish realm warriors of the Purple Cloud Palace. They were the top disciples of the Purple Cloud Palace and were all on the Heavenly King list. They were not ordinary people. The 2 of them were called Guan Yufan and Third Young Master Shao. Guan Yufan was handsome. He was dressed in a green robe and held a green dragon saber. He had the aura of a horse with a sword in hand. Third Young Master Shao was a man with a long face. He had a pair of feminine eyes that were like the eyes of a poisonous snake. Anyone who was stared at by him would feel cold. Yang Wu killed my junior brother. He is guilty of the most heinous crime. Guan Yufan roared righteously. He slashed down with his green dragon saber. It was like an azure dragon had emerged from the sea and rushed toward Yang Wu. Third young master, Xiao, didn't say anything. He kept changing his position. The sword in his hand stabbed out repeatedly, turning into a dense rain of swords that fell on Yang Wu's vital points. Both of them had used a technique unique to the heavenly fish realm. They absorbed the surrounding xian qi of heaven and earth to strengthen their attacks. They were very powerful. They knew how powerful Yang Wu was. They couldn't kill Yang Wu even though so many of them had joined forces. Therefore, they were going all out. Yang Wu's hair fluttered, and his fighting spirit soared. The Son of Heaven's sword slashed out a sword light like a shooting star. The extremely fast sword intent cut off the Azure Dragon's head. The double-edged three-dragon spear spun and formed a defensive formation. It knocked down the rain of swords that were coming at him. Half a year ago, it wouldn't have been easy for him to fight two people alone. Now he had reached the peak of the Earth-Sea realm. With the heaven and earth mysterious bridge formed by his soul, eye, and Earth-Sea spring, he could fully exert the combat power of the heavenly fish realm. His killing power was stronger than Guan Yufan and third young master Xiao's. Yang Wu forced the two of them back with his own strength. He also controlled the ice blade wings to attack the others. The geniuses of the Purple Cloud Palace who wanted to help Guan Yufan and third young master Xiao were beheaded before they knew what was going on. Someone exclaimed, "Be careful, this person has a hidden helper." No, that might be a talent. Everyone, don't hold back anymore. Use all your talents. Everyone, stop watching the show. Please work together to kill this guy. Lei Shuyang said to the onlookers in the distance. Who would have thought that the powerful geniuses of the Purple Cloud Palace would be defeated by Yang Wu? He didn't even show any of the foundation of a large sect. In fact, it wasn't that the people of the Purple Cloud Palace were weak. It was just that they had used a lot of spiritual treasures in the past year. They had even used their lesser sacred objects. They really didn't have many trump cards left. Lei Shuyang attacked again. A thunder hammer appeared in his hand. The terrifying power of thunder and lightning lingered on the thunder hammer, emitting a strong pressure. It was the lesser sacred weapon, lesser sacred thunder hammer. Ziyu cried out involuntarily, "Senior brother Shuyang, stop." Ziyu was very clear about the power of the lesser sacred thunder hammer. It could even kill a top-notch heavenly fish realm expert. It was a killer weapon brought by Lei Shuyang. He wouldn't use it unless he was in a desperate situation. Lei Shuyang replied loudly, Yu, didn't you see how many of our people he killed? Do you think there's still a possibility between the two of you? Let me kill him and destroy your last bit of hope. Lei Shuyang spat out a mouthful of blood, which stained the lesser sacred thunder hammer. Suddenly, the lesser sacred thunder hammer began to change. It turned into a thunder hammer the size of a mountain. The terrifying power of thunder and lightning fell from the sky, forming a sea of thunder and smashing towards Yang Wu. Go to hell. Lei Shuyang hated Yang Wu to the core. He couldn't defeat Yang Wu with his own strength. He hated Yang Wu to the core. He had to kill Yang Wu to vent the hatred in his heart. The sky prides in the distance started to discuss among themselves. This Yang Wu is powerful. He killed more than 10 people from the Purple Firmament Hall. If this news gets back to the Purple Firmament Hall, they will go crazy. Even Lei Shuyang has been defeated. Doesn't that mean that Yang Wu has the strength of the top 5 on the Heavenly King list? If he can block Lei Shuyang's lesser sacred thunder hammer, it will be even more incredible. Yang Wu took so many attacks from the Purple Firmament Hall just now. He was only injured and didn't die. His physique is amazing. Moreover, he has the Tao of Death. Only the young Hall King can take him down. Actually, he doesn't look like someone from the King of Hell's Hall. The people from the King of Hell's Hall are all sinister and evil. They can't be as righteous as Yang Wu. In the Sacred Fire Sect, a sky pride from the barbarian tribe exclaimed, "He used our barbarian beast fist. Could he be our Lang?" The one who spoke was Tuoba Quicksand. He was ranked 25th on the Heavenly King list, and his strength was second only to Yin Fun. It is indeed the barbarian beast fist. However, it is different from what we cultivate. It seems simpler and more exquisite, Infant said. Junior sister Huangfu, what is going on? Tuoba Quicksand asked Huangfu Mingyu. Huangfu Mingyu had a complicated expression as she replied. He once climbed the heavenly stairway of our sect. What level did he reach? 49. What? How could he reach that level? Lei Shuyang brought the lesser sacred thunderhammer down. It was as if a sea of lightning had descended. There were 49 bolts of lightning, and they danced like dragons and snakes, swallowing the heavens and tearing the earth apart. Guan Yufan and third young master, Xiao, quickly retreated as if they had met a snake. They didn't want to fall into the sea of lightning. Yang Wu was locked onto by Lei Shuyang and had nowhere to run. He could only take it head on. The power of this lightning is comparable to the lightning tribulation attracted by a top-tier heavenly pill. If it was half a year ago, I would have died without a doubt. However, I should be able to withstand it now, Yang Wu muttered as he faced the wave of lightning. He activated the 9 lightning body tempering technique to block it. At the same time, the Emperor's sword emitted a resplendent light. The sword Intense Seed in his Divine Court Dao Flower was fully activated, and he stabbed out with a nameless sword. Boom! Boom! The sea of lightning and the starry sword light clashed fiercely. Xian Qi splashed everywhere, and the sky seemed to be about to collapse. The destructive power was extremely shocking. The power of the small Thunder Saint Hammer was too great. The Son of Heaven sword in Yang Wu's hand was broken, and his body was hit several times, causing his body to deform. However, Lei Xiang was not in a good state either. The sword light pierced his chest, almost shattering his heart. At the critical moment, he cried out, "Elder Sheng, save me!" A ray of holy light appeared, blocking Yang Wu's fatal attack. Chapter 530. There was no sage elder in this space. There was only Lei Shuyang's Imperial Edict. When the Imperial Edict was activated, the power of a sage was added to his body. It disintegrated all of Yang Wu's attacks and moved Lei Shuyang away from the battlefield to prevent him from getting hurt again. Yang Wu was bombarded by the small thunder sacred hammer. His body was deformed and covered in blood. It was a miracle that he was still alive. He activated the 9 thunders reshaping technique. The power of thunder and lightning lingering around his body further stimulated his potential and strengthened his muscles. His bones, in particular, faintly turned a little purple and became abnormally tough. If someone saw the color of his bones, they would probably exclaim, "Heavenly Thunderbone!" Ziyue was born with the Heavenly Thunderbone flesh. Her Heavenly Thunderbone flesh was compatible with the Heavenly Thunder. Her skin also had the talent of being immune to the power of thunder. It was called the Heavenly Thunderbone flesh body. Yang Wu couldn't compare with Ziyue, but after being baptized by the Heavenly Thunder many times and being tempered by the 9 thunder body tempering technique, his bones had changed. This was definitely something he couldn't imagine. Once he really formed the Heavenly Lightning Bone, he would obtain another unimaginable innate potential. He's not dead yet. Everyone, kill him. The genius of the Purple Heaven Palace exclaimed. Before he finished speaking, dozens of forces all rushed toward Yang Wu. At this point, they would never let Yang Wu go. Yang was forced into a desperate situation. He shook his messy hair and spat out blood. He said angrily, "You forced me to kill." He did not want to activate the path of death. However, these people wanted him dead. He still kept it, so there was no need to do so. The Divine Court Dao Flower was swaying, and the death aura was released. Everything within a radius of a few miles was covered by the death aura, and all life force began to be taken away from them. Their attacks were quickly affected, and they became much weaker. Everyone fell into a lifeless state of despair, which was a huge flaw. Yang Wu took a deep breath and circulated the qi in his body throughout his body. His injuries were much better now. He hurriedly used the Dragon Turtle Sea Turning technique to create an opening at a weak spot. Then he charged towards the 2 geniuses in that direction and killed them on the spot with a punch and a palm. Yang Wu's back was hit, and he tumbled downwards. His injuries were not light. The Tao of Death can't be fake. Let's slay this demon together." Among the spectating sky prides, someone suddenly exclaimed. Instantly, the other sky prides began to jeer. "Let's kill him. Leaving him alive is also a disaster. Brothers of the Purple Firmament Palace, let me lend you a hand. The Tao of Death should not exist in this world. Let all these evil cultivators die." Regardless of whether these people sincerely wanted to help the Purple Firmament Palace or simply wanted to kill Yang Wu while he was down, they all attacked one after another. They were determined to kill Yang Wu. Yang Wu had refined both the healing pill and the Xianqi pill in his body at the same time. His injuries were recovering at an accelerated rate, and the Xianqi in his dantian was quickly replenished. He had recovered 30% of his strength. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. He opened his soul eye, and several beams of soul light shot out. The sky prides who were rushing towards him were killed without even knowing what was going on. Those who had not yet chased after him stopped in their tracks. Their eyes were filled with fear. Such a method of killing without leaving a trace was too terrifying. Demonic arts. This is definitely demonic arts. Someone cried out in horror. No, that's his innate potential. Quickly deal with his third eye. Then, there's nothing to be afraid of, another person shouted. Suddenly, an arrow shot towards the space between Yang Wu's eyebrows. Another sword finger also attacked Yang Wu's third eye at the same time. Other forces were also attacking Yang Wu from different angles. These geniuses all had a competitive heart. How could they be scared so easily? Ziyu saw Yang Wu being besieged like this and watched him kill her senior brothers from the Purple Firmament Palace. She was about to collapse. Although she had already advanced to the celestial fish realm, she had not cultivated for a long time. She had not encountered so many things. She only wanted to become stronger and fight for a better living space for her family in the Purple Firmament Palace. She also hoped that she could be with Yang Wu forever. Now, Yang Wu was completely on the opposite side of the forces behind her. How could she be with him in the future? Don't force Brother Wu anymore. Ziyu cried out. She was about to rush over to stop them. Even if she was seriously injured, she did not want the situation to worsen. However, someone suddenly attacked her from behind. Bang! The other party's timing was just right. After hitting Ziyu's neck, she was knocked unconscious. This person was a female sky pride from the Purple Firmament Palace. She was also the one who had taken care of Ziyu just now. Lei Shiyong returned with the sacred paper. He looked at the female sky pride and praised. Junior sister, you did well. This is what I should do, the female sky pride replied. Well, take good care of her. This will be over soon, Lei Shiyong replied. Lei Shiyong lightly replied. He didn't go to kill Yang Wu. The wound on Yang Wu's chest was still bleeding, and his complexion was incomparably pale. Lei Shiyong feared that if he didn't rest for 10 days or half a month, it would be completely healed, and this was under the condition that he had a high-grade healing pill. We can't let him leave. Little sacred lightning hammer, help my junior brothers. Lei Shiyong threw out the little sacred lightning hammer and handed it to Guan Yufan, third young master Xiao, and the others. He used the hammer's power to continue attacking Yang Wu. His soul eye was illuminated by another sky pride's heavenly light. The terrifying light forced Yang Wu to put away his soul eye. It was the power of light, and the light was dazzling. Yang Wu had the Tao of Death and the soul eye. However, under the many attacks, he was still like a stray dog. He kept running and dodging. At the same time, the ice blade wings continued to silently kill people. Some sky prides were beheaded and died. Suddenly, a thunderblast pearl exploded beside Yang Wu. The explosion caused his body to roll continuously. His body was almost torn apart, and he was in great pain. In addition, a broken umbrella fell from the sky. Strands of golden energy turned into thousands of sharp blades and shot towards Yang Wu. There was also a flying sword that sliced through the sky and slashed towards Yang Wu's neck. The attacks filled the sky. Countless profound qi covered the sky and covered the earth. Yang Wu didn't even have the chance to attack. Yang Wu was in a desperate situation. The double-edged three-dragon spear in his hand had been shattered, and the Son of Heaven sword had long been broken by the little sacred lightning hammer. He didn't have any suitable weapons on him, so he could only use his fists as weapons to destroy the power that was attacking him. If you want to kill me, you have to pay an absolute price. Yang Wu did not escape from his place. He still had not confessed his feelings to Ziyue. He was not willing to leave with his tail between his legs like this. His battle blood was stimulated to the peak. The power in his arms was boundless and astonishing as he continuously smashed the profound energy coming from all directions. He thought to himself, if this continues, I'll definitely die. I have to think of a way to break out. After blocking several waves of power, Yang Wu's gaze locked onto the little sacred lightning hammer. If he could take it, there might be a glimmer of hope. After all, it was the most destructive. Yang Wu locked onto his target and squeezed out all the energy in his body. The Supreme Nine Profound Arts finally displayed its power after leveling up. All of his meridians and acupoints in his body emitted strange sounds. The Heaven and Earth Profound Bridge was connected, and the profound chi in his surroundings was like swallows returning to their nests. His injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye, and his profound chi was replenished once again. Even if he refined the healing pill and profound chi pill, he wouldn't be able to recover at such a speed. This was the ability that the Supreme Nine Profound Arts should have. Otherwise, why would Little Hay call it the strongest immortal art? Yang Wu turned into a barbaric dragon and continuously attacked with his arms. The barbaric dragon flew down from the sky and crushed the power in all directions. It charged towards Guan Yufan and Third Young Master Shao, and its target was the little sacred lightning hammer. With the sacred lightning hammer here, you still dare to rush to your death? Guan Yufan roared and continuously activated his profound chi. He joined forces with Third Young Master Shao to help the little sacred lightning hammer transform and attack Yang Wu continuously. Unfortunately, Guan Yufan and Third Young Master Shao were not martial artists in the Heavenly Fish realm who had thunder profound chi. They couldn't activate the hammer's greatest power like Lei Shuyang. Otherwise, Yang Wu wouldn't have been able to get close. Even so, the little sacred lightning hammer still unleashed a terrifying power that even a high-level Heavenly Fish realm martial artist couldn't withstand. Every strike of the hammer was enough to destroy a large mountain. Yang Wu gathered all his strength and blasted out the barbarian elephant fist, colliding head-on with the little sacred lightning hammer. At the same time, he divided his attention and activated the ice blade wings to cut towards Guan Yufan and Third Young Master Shao. Although the ice blade wings were invisible, after killing so many people, the geniuses weren't fools. They were already prepared. Before the ice blade wings reached Guan Yufan and Third Young Master Shao, they quickly reacted and activated the power of heaven and earth to block the ice blade wings. Yang Wu took advantage of this moment to grab the little sacred lightning hammer regardless of his injuries. The little sacred lightning hammer was densely covered with thunder and lightning. Even an Earth-Sea realm martial artist wouldn't be able to hold it. They would be burned to death by the thunder and lightning. However, Yang Wu wasn't afraid of the power of thunder and lightning. He forcefully held it in his hand. Lei Shuyang, who was in the distance, was shocked. He shouted, "Bastard, quickly take the little sacred lightning hammer back." Guan Yufan and Third Young Master Shao were shocked. They didn't expect Yang Wu's target to be the little sacred lightning hammer. They didn't dare to hold back anymore and used their respective talents. Flood Dragon Battle Chi. After Image Doppelganger, Guan Yu had the Flood Dragon Battle Chi talent. His strength was enhanced, and he also had the deterrence of a Flood Dragon. He could frighten his opponent and achieve the effect of a one-hit kill. Third Young Master Shao's talent was Doppelganger. The power of this Doppelganger wasn't fake. It was a real existence. It could be divided into three, and each of them had a very strong destructive power. The only flaw was that it could only be maintained for a short period of time. If the first attack failed, it would be difficult to have a second attack. Yang Wu held the little sacred lightning hammer. Under the stimulation of the thunder and lightning, the transformed heavenly thunderbone in his body emitted traces of thunder and lightning energy. It had a faint connection with the little sacred lightning hammer, and the compatibility between the heavenly thunderbone and the little sacred lightning hammer rapidly increased. He roared, "Kill!" Suddenly, heavenly thunder fell from the sky. Rumble, rumble. Chapter 5:31. The heavenly thunder was a means of reward and punishment from the heavenly Tao. No one could use it easily. Alchemists could attract the heavenly thunder by virtue of their superior alchemy skills. Heaven's prides could attract the heavenly thunder by virtue of their innate talent. The demon race could also attract the heavenly thunder when they broke through. Every time the heavenly thunder fell, it would carry the power of destruction. Yang Wu could not attract heavenly thunder other than alchemy. However, he attracted heavenly thunder when he held the small sacred thunder hammer. The heavenly thunder bone in his body was very compatible with the small sacred thunder hammer. The moment he used the small sacred thunder hammer, dozens of heavenly thunder struck down. Guan Yufan and third young master Shao were shocked. The power of heavenly thunder was extremely terrifying. Even a mid-level heavenly fish might not be able to block it. Guan Yufan's green dragon saber slash was shattered. He reacted faster than third young master Shao and quickly retreated. However, he was hit by two of the heavenly thunder and spat out blood. Third young master Shao's 3 doppelgangers were won. He did not have time to retrieve them before they were drowned by the heavenly thunder. He let out an unwilling roar, "No!" With the power of the heavenly fish realm, it was not difficult for third young master Shao to block the heavenly thunder and not die. However, with the small thunder's sacred hammer, his defense had been divided into 3 parts. How could he block it? After the heavenly thunder fell, his doppelganger collapsed, and his real body was severely injured. When he wanted to escape, the small thunder's sacred hammer had already smashed on his head. Bang! Third young master Shao's head exploded. His brains splattered everywhere. A peerless genius of a generation had fallen. Senior brother Shao. Seeing this scene, the people of the Purple Cloud Palace cried out in pain. "This devil! We can't let him go. Kill him. Please kill him with the imperial edict. He is at the end of his rope." Everyone continued to attack. In this battle, Yang Wu's eyes were bloodshot. After he obtained the small sacred thunder hammer, he was like a tiger that had grown wings. He went on a killing spree. Every time the hammer fell, heavenly thunder would strike down. However, these heavenly thunder did not hurt him. Instead, it hurt his enemies. "Come on, those who try to stop me from reuniting with the slug can all go see the king of hell." Yang Wu threw caution to the wind and shouted, "I'm here to deal with you." The female Heaven's Pride with the broken umbrella shouted and shot out countless sharp blades towards Yang Wu. Another prodigy unleashed his innate potential. A ball of raging fire descended from the sky, burning towards Yang Wu. The other geniuses were still attacking. They truly couldn't understand why Yang Wu's life was so tenacious. Even after being repeatedly injured by them, he was still so ferocious. This was simply too perverse. Yang Wu didn't know any hammer techniques, so he treated the hammer as a huge mountain and smashed it in the direction of the enemy. The heavenly hammer was like a dragon that was wreaking havoc. Any attack in front of it would quickly disintegrate, forcing the enemy to retreat in a sorry state. The female prodigy with the broken umbrella was no exception. When a large amount of heavenly lightning fell towards her, she was so frightened that she used the broken umbrella to block it and fled with all her might. The broken umbrella was struck down by the small heavenly lightning hammer and could no longer unleash its power. The female prodigy spat out a mouthful of blood and crashed into the distance. It was unknown whether she was dead or alive. The other prodigies were also unable to cause any damage to Yang Wu. Only the long-range attackers were able to take advantage of Yang Wu. Yang Wu's shoulder had been shot by an arrow, and a flying sword had pierced through his thigh. There were many wounds on his body, but he was still full of fighting spirit and fearless. His target was Ziyu's direction. Today, he would take Ziyu away. Lei Xiong wouldn't let Yang Wu continue to be so arrogant. He quickly formed hand seals and exclaimed, "Heavenly hammer, return." Yang Wu felt the small heavenly lightning hammer had an urge to leave his hand. However, as the power of the heavenly lightning bone in his body continued to be released, it no longer had such an urge. How can the small heavenly lightning hammer be used by him? Lightning blood, lead the way. Heavenly hammer, return. Lei Shuyang roared unwillingly. He spat out a mouthful of blood and merged it with the hand seals he formed, forming a special rune. A guiding force was produced and guided the small heavenly lightning hammer. The small heavenly lightning hammer in Yang Wu's hand once again shook violently, wanting to leave his hand and disrupt Yang Wu's attack. The others took the opportunity to attack Yang Wu again. Yang Wu activated his barbarian god's arm and used brute force to forcefully grab the small heavenly lightning hammer. He swung it left and right, causing the attacks to be scattered. However, a portion of the power still landed on his body and injured him. Stay here. Yang Wu spat out a mouthful of blood and spat it on the small heavenly lightning hammer. Immediately, the small heavenly lightning hammer completely stabilized and released an even stronger lightning energy. The heavenly lightning bone in his body was stimulated and once again formed a connection with the small heavenly lightning hammer. Bolts of heavenly lightning energy fell down. Boom! Boom! This wave of power was completely on par with the power of the small heavenly lightning hammer in Lei Shuyang's hand. Lei Shuyang had the heavenly lightning body, so it was normal for him to be able to unleash the power of the small heavenly lightning hammer. It was truly unbelievable that Yang Wu was also able to rely on his acquired heavenly lightning bone to summon such a powerful force. When the sea of lightning descended, the power that was attacking Yang Wu was completely destroyed, and it was difficult for them to get close to Yang Wu. At the same time, the power of the heavenly lightning seeped into Yang Wu's bones, tempering the heavenly lightning bone once again, making it even more powerful. Yang Wu felt his entire body was filled with power. He raised the small heavenly lightning hammer and rushed towards Yu Yu's direction. His confidence increased greatly as he shouted, "Leave Yu Yu behind!" Wherever he went, lightning would wreak havoc, scaring the people of the Purple Heaven Palace into a panic. The Heaven's prides from the other sects who had come to support him did not dare to stop him. With Yang Wu's current strength, it would be difficult for him to stop the top 3 heavenly kings. Looks like we have no choice but to ask for an imperial edict, Lei Shuyang said helplessly. At this moment, his condition was already very bad. It was impossible for him to fight against Yang Wu. The others were also not a match for Yang Wu. Without an imperial edict, there was nothing they could do to Yang Wu. Right at this moment, someone suddenly intervened and shouted, "Yang Wu, it's time for you to stop." This person's voice contained a unique charm, and the power of heaven and earth seemed to be attracted by him. Even Yang Wu, who was surging with battle intent, paused for a moment and looked back at that person. It was a young man with a proper appearance and wearing a Taoist robe. At first glance, he might seem very ordinary, but at second glance, he had a unique charm. At third glance, he was filled with an ancient power. This was not an ordinary young man, the saint son of Kunlun, Kuan Xian. Kuan Xian was already 29 years old and was the oldest among the 10 heavenly kings. From his appearance, he looked to be around 22 or 23 years old. 3 years ago, no one knew of Kuan Xian's name. Back then, everyone thought that Kuan Lazy would be the next Saint Child candidate. 3 years ago, Kuan Xian appeared out of nowhere. On that day, there was a strange phenomenon in Mount Kunlun. It was as if a Kuan Peng had appeared in the sky and swept across 90,000 miles. There were 64 evil beasts in Mount Kunlun that were killed. Kuan Xian entered the broken space and killed countless beasts and yakshas. He was ranked 5th on the Heavenly King rankings. Although his ranking was not in the top 3, no one in the top 3 dared to say that they could defeat Kuan Xian. The other Heavenly Kings were even more certain that Kuan Xian had the strength to be ranked 1st on the Heavenly King rankings. It was only because he had not fought with the young Hall King that his current ranking was temporarily lowered. Yang Wu only paused for a moment and glanced at Kuan Xian before ignoring him. He continued to rush towards Purple Yu Yu. His speed was very fast, and the people of Purple Firmament Palace kept retreating. Some of the bolder ones went up to stop him, but they were smashed into dust by the small Thunder Saint hammer. Yang Wu stopped. Kuan Xian spoke again. This time, his voice condensed into a terrifying sound wave that rushed towards Yang Wu. At the same time, he used Earth's shrink to catch up with Yang Wu, wanting to stop him. Kuan Xian's sound wave attack had affected Yang Wu, causing his eardrums to hurt. The blood and qi in his body churned, which affected his speed. He circulated the supreme 9 mysteries formula, and his Xian qi circulated continuously to calm down. You dare to stop me? Yang Wu stopped and turned back to roar at Kuan Xian. You can think of it that way. The Ixia race is just ahead. So why don't you save your strength to kill them? Why do you have to fight among yourselves? Kuan Xian retorted. Are you blind? Yang Wu questioned Kuan Xian with a thick murderous aura. Kuan Xian's expression was calm as he said indifferently, I'm not blind. I can still see that you're angry. Then are you an idiot? If I was an idiot, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. Then you're a lunatic. This time, everyone from Kunlun was furious. They all rubbed their fists and wanted to attack Yang Wu, but when they remembered that their holy son wasn't someone with a good temper, they held themselves back. You're right. There is something wrong with my head. I asked a question I shouldn't have asked. Kuan Xian revealed a strange smile and then tapped his head with a finger in self-mockery. It was also at this moment that an inexplicable power seeped out of his eyes and directly entered Yang Wu's divine hall. Yang Wu was instantly stunned. This was a pair of illusory eyes. The illusory eyes that could bring people into illusions was Kuan Xian's innate talent. Kuan Xian's words just now were to make Yang Wu lower his guard and meet his gaze. This way, Yang Wu would fall into the trap of his illusory eyes. Yang Wu thought that Kuan Xian was a retard. It's time for you to meet the King of Hell. Kuan Xian's expression was cold as he said this. He reached out a hand and grabbed Yang Wu's heart. His hand was very slow, as if he was picking a fruit. He wasn't worried that the fruit would run away. Yang Wu, wake up! Someone cried out. The person who cried out was Yang Jia. He didn't want to see Yang Wu die like this. Qing Jing also desperately shouted, Senior Brother Yang, wake up. She was probably the only one present who believed that Yang Wu wasn't from the king of Hell's palace. The 5 heroes wanted to shout, but their voices were stuck in their throats. They knew that if they shouted, they would become the sworn enemies of the Purple Firmament Palace and be ostracized by the other sections. They could only pray in their hearts, Yang Wu, wake up. Even if the gods came, they wouldn't be able to wake him up. Chapter 532. Just as Kuan Xian was about to pluck out Yang Wu's heart, the small Thunder Saint hammer suddenly moved. It smashed down on Kuan Xian's head, scaring him so much that he quickly retreated. Unfortunately, he was still a bit too slow. The lightning quickly caught up to him and exploded. Kuan Xian was one of the top 5 heavenly kings. His combat power was not much weaker than Lei Shuyang's. He was even comparable to the Young Hall King. However, in front of the small Thunder Saint hammer, he was still injured by the lightning. Half of his arm was almost destroyed. What he thought was in the bag had failed for the first time. After Yang Wu's attack succeeded, he smashed the small Thunder Saint hammer at Kuan Xian again and again. He shouted, You're crazy. Do you really think you can confuse me? Yang Wu had the divine Court Dao flower and cultivated the Soul Control Heart Sutra. His soul was already equipped with defensive abilities. When Kuan Xian's illusion power entered his divine Court Dao flower, the divine Court Dao flower reacted and used its powerful soul power to block the illusion. Otherwise, it would be as Kuan Xian said, even a god wouldn't be able to wake him up. Yang Wu smashed down with the small Thunder Saint hammer again and again. Every time he smashed down, a boundless sea of lightning would fall down like dragons. No matter how powerful Kuan Xian was, he couldn't fight against the divine lightning. He could only keep on running. Seeing this, everyone didn't know what to say. Even Kuan Xian's talent and potential couldn't deal with Yang Wu. Only the Young Hall King could do it. However, the Young Hall King had no intention of making a move. Although he liked to fight, Yang Wu was currently relying on the might of the small Thunder Saint hammer. He needed to avoid it. Unless he also used a small saint weapon, he didn't dare to say that he could suppress Yang Wu with 100% certainty. Kuan Xian didn't want to be defeated like this. He suddenly spat out a small translucent fan. In an instant, the small fan became a large fan. Everyone couldn't help but cry out. This is the banana holy fan of Kunlun Mountain. No, this should be a small banana holy fan that hasn't taken shape yet. I heard that it's a natural wonder. Ordinary people can't see it, and only fated people can obtain it. There are no less than 100,000 disciples in Kunlun Mountain, but the number of people who have obtained the banana holy fan in 10,000 years can be counted on one hand. This saint is really lucky. It's said that this banana holy fan can split mountains and rivers with one strike. I wonder if it's true or not. Since Kuan Xian has taken out his palm leaf fan, it seems like he's determined to fight Yang Wu. Everyone from Kunlun Mountain was overjoyed. They felt that Kuan Xian would definitely win this battle. Even if Yang Wu had the small thunder saint hammer, he would still be no match for their saint son. He's Xian's twos. He turned a face to Yang to him to s twos' twos. Whoosh! Suddenly, a terrifying hurricane appeared. This hurricane condensed the power of a few miles, causing the sky and earth to change color. It was like an apocalyptic disaster, crazily rushing towards Yang Wu. Yang Wu was originally chasing after Kuan Xian. He didn't know how powerful Kuan Xian's small banana holy fan was. Suddenly, he was hit by this powerful hurricane. The lightning of the small thunder holy hammer was messed up. His body was spinning, and there was no way for him to stabilize. There were also terrifying wind blades constantly cutting and strangling his body. It was as if he was being dismembered. Yang Wu was someone who had experienced great storms. Unfortunately, he was still defeated in this battle. He was blown far away by the hurricane and heavily smashed into a mountain, fainting. Who would have thought that the ferocious Yang Wu would disappear in front of everyone's eyes just like that? Yang Wu. Yang Jie was the first to chase after Yang Wu. He already knew that Yang Wu belonged to the Yang clan. If Yang Wu returned to the Yang clan, then the Yang clan's strength would definitely rise to another level in the future. As for Yang Wu possessing the Tao of Death, it wasn't a taboo. It was just that the King of Hell's Hall didn't have a good reputation. The people of the Purple Firmament Hall fanned the flames, causing Yang Wu to become unpardonably evil. If the Yang clan confirmed that Yang Wu had returned, then even if the Yang clan was only a second-rate clan, it was still an ancient clan. As long as the major powers didn't deliberately target them, Yang Wu would be fine. Unfortunately, Yang Wu had killed many people from the Purple Firmament Hall today, as well as people from other powers. This matter would be difficult to resolve. Qing Jing also wanted to save Yang Wu, but she was stopped by the other nuns. Although these nuns didn't hate Yang Wu, the Tao of Death that Yang Wu cultivated didn't conform to their benevolent principles. After all, the Tao of Death was a martial path that could only be cultivated by stepping on piles of corpses. It was a taboo for cultivators. The saint is invincible. The saint is invincible. The Kunlun disciples all exclaimed in unison. Yang Wu, who even the Purple Firmament Hall couldn't do anything to, was sent flying by their Kunlun saint. He should be deader than dead. Their Kunlun saint was awe-inspiring. After Kuan Xian's fan, more than half of his celestial qi was sucked out. The small palm leaf fan quickly shrank and was swallowed back into his mouth. He didn't show any signs of complacency. Instead, he said in a deep voice, "The Yiksha clan hasn't been destroyed yet. We can't delay any longer. Follow me and continue killing the Yiksha clan and seize the Night Star Spring." Then, he took the lead and charged towards the Yiksha clan's territory. The top-notch heavenly Yiksha had already been killed, so he wasn't afraid of the other Yikshas. The Yiksha clan's Night Star Spring was a type of small sacred spring that possessed extraordinary powers. It was located in the Yiksha clan's territory, so it wasn't easy to obtain it. Many prodigies charged towards the Yiksha clan. Only those from the Purple Firmament Hall didn't go. They had suffered a great loss this time. "Let's go and check if Yang Wu is dead." "We can't let him live," a prodigy from the Purple Firmament Hall said. "I'm willing to go too. We must retrieve the sacred hammer." Another person chimed in. No matter what his relationship with the saint is from now on, Yang Wu is an enemy that our purple firmament hall must kill. He should be dead. That small palm leaf fan is very powerful. It's not inferior to the small saint lightning hammer. We won't go too deep into the Iksha clan. You guys go and investigate Yang Wu's whereabouts. If he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his corpse. You must bring the small saint lightning hammer back. Lei Shuyang ordered the others. Yes, saint. A few people from the Purple Firmament Hall responded. They quickly flew towards the direction where Yang Wu had been sent flying by the fan. Lei Shuyang left with Purple Yu. Their trip to the fragmented space was more or less over. He hated Yang Wu to the core. Regardless of whether Yang Wu was dead or alive, he couldn't erase the shadow cast by Yang Wu. This was the greatest humiliation he had suffered since his debut. 100 miles away, Yang Wu was unconscious. He was lying in the rubble. His injuries weren't light. The small palm leaf fan was extremely powerful. Even a mid-level Heavenly Fish Realm warrior would be killed by it. Even a high-level Heavenly Fish Realm warrior might not be able to withstand it. However, Yang Wu was still alive. Although there were many injuries on his body, they were still within the range that he could withstand. It was obvious how strong his body was. The first person to find Yang Wu wasn't Yang Jie, but the sky-severing sex saint. She had a strand of soul power connection with Yang Wu. Even if Yang Wu was the one leading, she could still use her soul power to sense Yang Wu's location. After the sky-severing sex saint found Yang Wu, she didn't check on Yang Wu's injuries. She quickly left with Yang Wu. When Yang Jie arrived, he couldn't find any trace of Yang Wu. After an unknown period of time, Yang Wu slowly woke up. Where is this? Yang Wu said weakly. After a series of battles, he had expended a lot of energy. It wasn't easy for him to wake up in a day. Ferocious Beast Cave. The sky-severing sex saint replied indifferently. This was a ferocious beast cave. The space wasn't small. After the sky-severing sex saint killed it, she occupied this place. You saved me. Yang Wu looked at the sky-severing sex saint in surprise. Logically speaking, the other party wanted him dead. Why would she save him? Is there anyone else here? The sky-severing sex saint asked. When Yang Wu wanted to stand up from the ground, he realized that he couldn't use his strength. It was as if he had lost all his strength. His expression changed drastically. He tried to use the Supreme Nine Profound Arts, but there was still no reaction. His meridians were locked, and he couldn't use his profound chi at all. Can't you use your strength? The sky-severing sex saint asked. You did it, right? Yang Wu forced a smile. Of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to resist if you try to touch me. The sky-severing sex saint said with a playful expression. Yang Wu said in a deep voice, Don't forget that a wisp of your soul force is still with me. I know. That's why I'm afraid of you. Then why don't you hurry up and remove the seal on my body? No, it wasn't easy to control you. How can I let you go? You're my handsome master. The sky-severing sex saint said with a smug expression. Then you could go to hell. Yang Wu realized that the sky-severing sex saint was definitely going to take revenge. He quickly activated the divine quartz Dao flower to destroy the wisp of soul force. Only then could he be safe. Stop. If you really destroy my soul force, I'll kill you. The sky-severing sex saint put away her playful appearance and said very seriously. However, Yang Wu ignored her. He no longer had the ability to protect himself. He had to do this to have a chance of survival. In his divine court, the sky-severing sex saint soul force was directly destroyed by him. He was waiting for the sky-severing sex saint to be heavily injured or directly die. Unfortunately, the scene he was waiting for didn't appear. She still stood there and looked at Yang Wu as if nothing had happened. Yang Wu was surprised. How are you fine? You're so ruthless. The sky-severing sex saint didn't answer him. Instead, she shouted and stomped on Yang Wu's chest. Yang Wu couldn't use his power. The sky-severing sex saint's kick was so domineering that he spat out blood. I wanted to keep you as a servant, but it seems like there's no need for that now. The sky-severing sex saint took out a short dagger and placed it on Yang Wu's neck. Hiss! Chapter 533. Suddenly, a small flood dragon came out of Yang Wu's body and bit at the sky, severing Sex Saintus. The Saintus reacted quickly and swung her dagger at the small flood dragon. The small flood dragon failed to dodge the attack, but its body wasn't directly cut in half. It was only knocked into the cave wall and was wounded, but it wasn't fatal. Hiss! The flood dragon kept spitting out its tongue, still wanting to attack the Saintus. The Saintus sneered. I didn't expect you to have such a small thing on you. Its body is really tough, but it still can't live. Stop. Let's talk things over, Yang Wu shouted. What's there to discuss? You even destroyed my soul-bound power. You don't even know how to be nice to women. What's the point of keeping you around? The Saintess of the Sky, severing Sect, said. She raised her dagger and stabbed at Yang Wu's shoulder. Ah! Yang Wu's power had already been sealed. When the dagger stabbed into his bone, he screamed in pain. The little dragon pounced over again and spat out blood, evil chi from its mouth. It was the power of the blood, evil, mysterious essence chi, and was quite powerful. Unfortunately, it was still too weak. It could not threaten the Saintess of the Sky-severing Sect. She waved her hand and controlled the baleful mystic essence chi, preventing it from harming her. A flood dragon that knows how to protect its master. Not bad, the Saintess praised. The Saintess of the Sky, severing Sect praised. She could clearly feel the ferocious aura from the little flood dragon. It belonged to the category of ferocious beasts, but it also displayed intelligence. That meant that its potential was incredible. She had the desire to subdue it. Yang Wu kept the little Jiao dragon in his waist pouch. Even in the previous battle, Yang Wu had tried his best to avoid injuring it. He had thought that it would be affected and die, but now it seemed that its vitality was much stronger than he had imagined. What do you want? Yang Wu asked the Saintess with narrowed eyes. At this moment, he was trying to think of a way to break through the restrictions of the Sky, severing Sex Saintus. Only by recovering his strength could he survive. He couldn't circulate the supreme 9 mystic arts, mainly because his meridians had been sealed by the Sky, severing Sex Saintus' unique technique. If he couldn't break the seal, he wouldn't be able to recover his strength. He had to think of another way. His divine court Dao flower could still be used, which meant that his soul could still be used. However, he believed that the Saintess of the Sky, severing Sect, must have been on guard. After all, he had displayed this talent in the previous battle. In addition, his ice blade wings was a kidney innate skill. He could also use it, but it consumed a lot of energy. If he didn't have a chance to kill his opponent in one strike, he couldn't use it. Otherwise, he would really die. I said that I wanted you to be my servant, but now that you're so heartless, you've even lost the right to be my servant, the Sky-severing Sex Saintess said faintly. The next moment, she stabbed Yang Wu's other shoulder. Blood seeped out again. The little flood dragon rushed over again, but unfortunately, it was grabbed by the Saintess of the Sky, severing Sect, and thrown into the rock wall, smashing it into it. How dare you steal my things? Today, I'll take it back with interest. The Saintess of the Sky, severing Sect, held a short dagger and opened a few bloody holes in Yang Wu's body. Yang Wu gritted his teeth and didn't say a word. He was still quickly thinking of a way to save himself. The Saintess of the Sky, severing Sect, had been robbed by Yang Wu. It was impossible for her not to take revenge. If you let me go, I can return all the things I stole from you, Yang Wu said. Your life is in my hands. Are you afraid that I won't be able to take back my things? The Saintess of the Sky, severing Sect, said. Not necessarily. Yang Wu laughed disdainfully. Then he said, If you don't believe me, you can search my body. The Saintess of the Sky, severing Sect, hesitated, but she still searched Yang Wu's body. She touched all the places except his most sensitive parts, but she didn't find an interspatial ring or any other items of the universe. Yang Wu revealed a shy expression and said, You're taking advantage of me like this. You have to take responsibility for me. Cut the crap. Where did you hide your interspatial ring? The Saintess of the Sky, severing Sect, stepped on Yang Wu's chest and shouted. This step wasn't light. It almost broke Yang Wu's bones. Kill. Yang Wu used this opportunity to activate the ice blade wings. The invisible blades attacked the saintess of the sky, severing sect. The ice blade wings contained the icy power of the frost spring mysterious chi. It was extremely powerful and could even cut through the heavenly scale armor. Under Yang Wu's full power, it instantly arrived in front of the saintess of the sky, severing sect. Just as Yang Wu thought he could kill the saintess of the sky, severing sect, he found that she was already prepared. She turned into a ghost and quickly retreated. Yang Wu controlled the ice blade wings to continue chasing. He had to buy time for himself to break through the seal. Your talent is really shocking, but I don't believe that it can't kill you. It can still use its power. The Saintess of the Sky Severing Sect had a powerful defensive force. It was her heavenly scale armor. This layer of heavenly scale armor was supported by the Sky Severing Sect's unique defensive techniques. Its defensive power was multiplied. It definitely couldn't be broken through by ordinary power. However, the Ice Blade Wings had such an ability. It cut through part of the heavenly scale armor and emitted waves of icy chi. It seeped into her body and made her feel cold. She was indeed the Saintess of the Sky Severing Sect. Under such circumstances, she still threw out the dagger in her hand. Her target was Yang Wu's throat. When Yang Wu activated the Ice Blade Wings, he had already thought of a way to break through the seal. He communicated with his soul, eye, and guided the wisp of immortal chi to try to connect with his dantian. Indeed, the peach core dantian was closely related to immortal chi. After the soul eye's light and the immortal chi merged, they entered his dantian and connected with the earth springs, eye, and the rising moon above the sea. The heaven and earth mysterious bridge was opened and the immortal chi flowed through his body. The seal on his body was instantly shattered by the immortal chi. Bang! Bang! Yang Wu had 7 vital points on his body sealed. Under the impact of the immortal chi, 7 muffled sounds exploded on his body. His body trembled as if he was dancing. At this moment, the dagger flew towards him. He was so scared that he quickly used his strength to dodge it. However, a bloody wound still appeared on his cheek. Yang Wu's seal was broken. He instantly jumped up and shouted, "Demoness, it's your turn to die." He opened his soul, eye, and looked at the Saintess of the Sky Severing Sect who was about to attack him. The Saintess of the Sky Severing Sect was shocked. She quickly gathered her strength to block in front of her forehead. Her body was like a bow as she shot out of the cave. She was afraid that she would be killed by Yang Wu's soul, eye, if she was any slower. Although she had defensive methods, she had seen Yang Wu's strength. Even if he was injured, he still had a chance to counterattack. Yang Wu didn't chase after her. He was severely injured by Kuan Xian's small banana fan. Moreover, his meridians were sealed by the Saintess of the Sky Severing Sect, so he couldn't use his chi to heal. He was already satisfied that he had forced the Saintess of the Sky Severing Sect to retreat. If he chased after her, he might not be able to get away. However, before he could heal his injuries, he felt the earth tremble and the mountains shake. A powerful force was attacking the cave, wanting to destroy it. This crazy woman. Yang Wu cursed. He had no choice but to enter a state of full defense. He gathered strength in his fists and used his remaining strength to punch forward. In addition, the little dragon also woke up. It shot towards Yang Wu and coiled around Yang Wu's waist. It would live and die with Yang Wu. If you can break free today, I'll help you become a dragon in the future. Yang Wu shouted. The battle blood in his body boiled. The power of the barbaric god's arm erupted. He continuously punched out with the barbaric fist quintessence, and bulls with sharp horns charged out. Yang Wu's battle prowess was less than 30%, but it was still not something that could be trapped by these rubble. He was able to force his way out. Yang Wu, the next time I see you, I won't give you a chance to live. The Saintess of the Sky Severing Sect left these words behind and quickly left. Yang Wu shouted at her, "The next time I see you, I'll definitely capture you and make you my bed-warming maid." This was the first time he had suffered such a huge loss in front of a woman. If she had killed him while he was unconscious, he would not have had the chance to make a comeback. He felt lucky in his heart. I can't underestimate the peerless geniuses of the transcendent realm. They have good lives, and all of them have life-saving trump cards in their hands. My foundation is still lacking. Yang Wu didn't think too much. He sat down cross-legged to heal his injuries. The wisp of immortal qi in Yang Wu's body was abnormally active. In order to evolve the 9 supreme mysteries formula, Yang Wu had already absorbed 3 types of profound essence qi. These 3 types of profound essence qi not only increased the level of the 9 supreme mysteries formula, but also strengthened the power of immortal qi. In the past, this wisp of immortal qi only flowed between the heaven and earth mysterious bridge in his body or the thousands of holes in his dantian. Now, it felt as if it had seeped into his battle blood and merged with his xian qi. It was like the profound essence qi merging with his xian qi. If immortal qi merged with his xian qi, it would become much stronger. Yang Wu was enveloped by the immortal light. After a while, all the injuries on his body were healed. It was really shocking. Only the power in his dantian still needed some time to be completely replenished. The little Jiao dragon coiled around Yang Wu's body, enjoying the baptism of Yang Wu's immortal light. It became more and more inseparable from Yang Wu. From time to time, it would spit out its tongue and absorb a different kind of power to help it grow. After Yang Wu's injuries were healed, he still wanted to continue recovering the power in his dantian before making the next move. Unexpectedly, someone was rushing in his direction. Yang Wu sensed that there was only one person's aura. He didn't hide, but waited quietly to see if it was a passerby or an enemy. Soon, that person appeared in front of Yang Wu. Yang Wu's vigilance was lowered by a lot. "Yang Wu, I knew you wouldn't be killed so easily," the person said excitedly as he swooped down. "Everyone thinks I'm from the king of Hell's palace and wants to kill me. Why are you still here?" Yang Wu asked. "Because you're from my Yang clan," the person said with certainty. Chapter 534. Yang Jie was a member of the Yang family. The Yang family had a tradition of being very united. Regardless of whether they were from the main branch or collateral branch, as long as their bloodline was outstanding, they would be valued. Because of Yang Wu, Yang Jie's bloodline power had been improved, and he had broken through to the top Earthsea realm. He was expected to break through to the heavenly fish realm before the age of 30. Even if his talent was not the best in the family, he would definitely be valued when he returned. Yang Wu was confirmed to be a member of the Yang family. However, Yang Wu's branch was expelled from the Yang family for some reason, but that was a long time ago. With Yang Wu's current outstanding ability, he would definitely be accepted again and return to the ancestral tree of the Yang family. It was because of this that Yang Jie came to Yang Wu without any hesitation, hoping to bring Yang Wu back to the Yang family. Hearing Yang Jie's words, Yang Wu was moved. He had already become the target of all the sky prides, yet Yang Jie still didn't try to avoid arousing suspicion. It was truly rare. "Yang Jie, is it worth it?" Yang Wu asked Yang Jie. "Of course it is. There are no cowards in the Yang family," Yang Jie said firmly. "Okay, I'll treat you as my brother," Yang Wu said with certainty. "Of course, we are family. I hope it's as you say." With Yang Jie's protection, Yang Wu's body quickly recovered to its peak state. There was a strange feeling in his dantian. There seemed to be a fish shadow in the sea. Yang Wu looked at it with joy. "I finally see the dawn of condensing into a heavenly fish realm." Before he obtained the 3rd kind of mysterious essence qi, Little Hay had said that it was impossible for him to break through to the Earthsea realm. Now that he had obtained the 3rd kind of mysterious essence qi, there was hope for him to break through to the heavenly fish realm. The heavenly fish shadow that Yang Wu had condensed was in the middle of the spring. Once it came to life and swallowed the moon above the sea, he would become a true heavenly fish realm warrior. With the heavenly fish shadow, he was equivalent to a quasi-heavenly fish realm warrior. It was only a matter of time before he broke through to the heavenly fish realm. Some top Earthsea realm warriors could not see the heavenly fish shadow even after many years of cultivation. This meant that they could only stay in the Earthsea realm for the rest of their lives. This was a very crucial step. Once the heavenly fish shadow appeared, many people would choose to go into seclusion to accumulate enough strength to activate the sky fish swallows the moon. However, Yang Wu did not intend to do so. Although he could successfully break through to the heavenly fish realm, it was not the best way to do so. He had to repeatedly stimulate the power of his dantian and constantly condense the heavenly fish to make the heavenly fish more solid. After the heavenly fish was fully formed, its vitality would be stronger than those who had not been tempered. 1 month at most. Half a month at most, Yang Jie answered. What about the others? Yang Wu asked again. What? You still want revenge? I'm going to find you. Don't go. The people of Purple Cloud Palace are your sworn enemies. Even if you find her, you'll only make things worse for her. Yang Jie sighed. With your abilities, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Why do you have to fall in love with one flower? Yang Wu shook his head and did not explain. His relationship with the slug was not something that outsiders could understand. He would be with Ziyu, no matter what. She must be in a difficult position, Yang Wu thought. He felt sorry for Ziyu. Ziyu was a kind person. She was stuck between the sect and him. She would not have an easy time. Yang Wu and Yang Jie once again flew towards the Yiksha tribe. On the way, Yang Wu asked Yang Jie, how should we deal with Kunlun's fan? In the past 2 years, the most powerful weapons he had encountered were the small Thunder Saint Hammer and the small Banana Fan. Because he had refined the Heavenly Thunderbone, the small Thunder Saint Hammer did not cause much damage to him. To others, its power was still very frightening. The small Banana Fan contained the baleful wind energy. Yang Wu was not immune to it. It was fine if he was sent flying, but he was almost killed by the baleful wind energy. It was indeed very difficult to deal with. Before he clashed with Kun Xian again, Yang Wu had to think of a solution. Otherwise, if the other party used the small Banana Fan from the start, he would not have a chance to fight. The small Banana Fan is a Xiantian warrior that grew from the sacred banana tree of Kunlun. Its power is even stronger than the small Thunder Saint Hammer of Purple Firmament Hall. It is not easy to deal with it. As long as one's strength has not reached the Dragon Transformation Realm, they will not be able to take a hit from the small Banana Fan. I suspect that your physical body has already reached the Dragon Transformation Realm. Otherwise, you would be able to recover so quickly after suffering so many attacks. You are really abnormal. Yang Jie looked at Yang Wu enviously. Xiantian warrior? What kind of warrior is that? Yang Wu said with a confused expression. This was the first time he had heard of such a name. You don't even know this? Yang Jie said with surprise. After a pause, he slapped his forehead and said, I forgot that you are from the mortal world. Then let me tell you, Xiantian warrior was an extremely rare weapon. They grew from sacred items. For example, the small Banana Fan was a leaf that grew from the sacred banana tree. This leaf did not need to be forged and was already a small sacred weapon. It had its own innate attributes that far surpassed any small sacred weapon that was refined. It could be said that every Xiantian warrior was extremely rare. They were even harder to find than refined sacred weapons. They were born as sacred weapons, and their value was immeasurable. Xiantian warriors were extremely rare in the world. However, in the transcendent realm, those with great fortune would occasionally obtain Xiantian warriors. For example, the Xiantian Qinquan gourd could hold the sky. For example, the Xiantian chaotic divine lotus could bring people back from the dead with a single drop of its dew. Another example was the Xiantian vine whip, which could split rivers with a single whip. Every Xiantian warrior had a unique power. Those without great fortune would not be able to obtain them. After hearing this, Yang Wu's horizons were broadened. He felt that he was indeed a frog at the bottom of a well. He sighed inwardly. My defeat was not unjust. To deal with such Xiantian warriors, the only way was to be stronger than the warrior wielding the warrior or to have something that could counter it. The small Banana Fan had the power of wind fiends. A single fan could send a person flying hundreds of miles away. If one wanted to stop the wind fiends, if one's realm was insufficient, one had to have the air-frozen bead. The air-frozen bead was a type of natural treasure that had the ability to repel wind. It was precisely the item that countered the small banana fan. However, the air-frozen bead was the same as the Xiantian warrior. It was not easy to obtain. It was impossible for Yang Wu to find it in a short period of time. I never expected a Xiantian warrior to be so powerful, Yang Wu said with a sigh. Of course it's powerful. Even a saint would be envious of it, Yang Jie replied. He paused for a moment before continuing. You've already provoked the Purple Firmament Palace. Don't provoke Kunlun. Even when our Yang family was at its peak, we were able to contend with them. Now that our Yang family has declined, the old fellows in our family don't even want to provoke them. I know what to do, Yang Wu replied softly. Not long after, they arrived in front of the Yiksha's territory. They did not take the original path, but approached from a different direction. Yang Wu had no interest in attacking the Yiksha's territory. His mind was filled with thoughts of how to take Yu away. The Yiksha's territory was shrouded in poisonous fog and filled with ghost trees. When they approached, the ghost trees attacked them. Just as Yang Jie was about to attack, Yang Wu said, "Don't move." A ball of blue flame appeared on his body and enveloped him and Yang Jie. When the ghost tree's vines came into contact with the flame, they were quickly burned to ashes. The ghost trees were so frightened that they quickly cut off their vines to prevent themselves from being burned. Yang Wu's cultivation is so complex. This won't do. Yang Jie didn't feel happy because Yang Wu released the extreme Yang fire. Instead, a trace of worry appeared on his face. A martial artist's energy was limited. If a martial artist cultivated more than one type of celestial qi, it would be almost impossible for him to achieve great things. This was common knowledge in the transcendent realm. Yang Wu and Yang Jie looked in the direction of the Yiksha's territory under the cover of the night sky. A fierce battle was taking place there. From time to time, intense explosions of celestial qi lit up the night sky. This battle has been going on for so long. They're still fighting. Yang Jie exclaimed. Then, he asked, should we go over? No, let's just wait here, Yang Wu replied. Even though he really wanted to see Yu, he was not sure if the Purple Firmament Palace had taken part in this battle. Waiting here might be the best solution. Hearing Yang Wu's words, Yang Jie was relieved. He was really afraid that Yang Wu would be rash and charge in. Yang Wu did not stay idle. He quickly found a hiding spot and waited for the battle to end before making his next move. This battle was coming to an end. After Yang Wu killed the peak-level Heavenly Yiksha, the strongest among the Yikshas were only high-level Heavenly Yikshas. They held a great advantage here. Many geniuses did not dare to venture in. Only those on the Heavenly King ranking had the ability to enter. After these geniuses took out their trump cards, they finally entered the Yiksha's territory. Some of them obtained the Night Star Spring, while others obtained the Black Mystic Stone or other heavenly items. After all, this was the Yiksha's territory. The geniuses could not kill all the Yikshas. They could only take what they were looking for and escape immediately. Among the geniuses, the fastest was not the Young Hall King, who was ranked first. Instead, it was the peerless rapist, Jiangping. Jiangping was the first to obtain the Night Star Spring. He was also the first to escape from the Yiksha's territory. The direction he escaped in was exactly where Yang Wu was. He said excitedly, with this Night Star Spring, I can condense my astral soul. Just as he was getting carried away, a surge of soul power charged toward his celestial court. Chapter 535. Jiangping was a very cautious person. No matter when or where he was, he would always be on his guard. After all, he had offended too many people. This time, he had taken a Night Star Spring from someone else and was leaving the territory of the Yiksha tribe at full speed. He was not greedy for credit. It was this character that made him successful, who knew that just as he was secretly feeling proud, he would suffer an unexpected calamity. The soul of the divine court was attacked, and this attack was impossible to guard against. If not for his soul being different from ordinary people, this attack would have killed him on the spot. While Jiangping was screaming and losing his balance, a figure rushed out like a hunting leopard. He grabbed the back of Jiangping's neck and dragged him to the rock on the ground. Jiang Ping was distracted at first, and then he was grabbed by a strong hand, which made him even more flustered. Before he could react, his face came into close contact with the rock. Bang! Bang! The person who grabbed Jiang Ping seemed to have a great grudge against him. He kept slamming Jiang Ping's face against the rock. Anyone who saw this would feel sorry for him. Jiang Ping's face was probably going to be ruined. Jiang Ping was in the heavenly fish realm, so every part of his body was extremely tough. Even after being hit like this, he only bled from his nose and his face. He did not die from his head exploding. Ah, please let me go. Jiang Ping struggled to make a sound. Unfortunately, the person did not intend to let him go. He slammed Jiang Ping more than 10 times until the rock was broken. Jiang Ping's face was almost dented. In the end, he fainted from the pain. This had a lot to do with the injury to his soul. He survived the attack of my soul eye. This guy is really lucky, Yang Wu said softly as he looked at Jiang Ping, who had fainted. Yang Jie came over and exclaimed, "It's Jiang Ping, the rapist. You actually caught this guy. Is this guy famous?" Yang Wu asked. Although he knew some things about Jiang Ping from Qingjing, he knew very little about him. Not only is he famous, but he has a terrible reputation. Even after his death, his name will go down in infamy. Yang Jie said exaggeratedly, and then he told Yang Wu about Jiang Ping's situation. It turned out that Jiang Ping was a lecherous bastard. He had once snuck into a sect and peeked at their saintess bathing. He had even snuck into an ancient family clan and slept with their unmarried daughters. Even more awesome was that he had slept with the wife and daughter of a family clan leader. He had done many outrageous things, but no one had been able to catch him. Even if a dragon transformation realm martial artist tried to capture him, he would still be able to slip away. He was like a slippery loach, extremely slippery. After Yang Wu heard this, he was shocked. That's amazing. How'd he do it? Rumor has it that he obtained the inheritance of a certain saint. Not only does he possess unparalleled speed, but he also has all sorts of life-saving methods. It's not easy to capture him. I didn't expect you to succeed. Yang Jie sighed. Then shouldn't I kill him so that this world will have one less scourge? Yang Wu asked in return. No. He's worth a lot. He's on the bounty list. As long as we spread the news that we caught him, there will definitely be many forces willing to pay a huge price to trade with him. Is that so? Then I'll let him live for now. But what treasures does he have? I'll have to search him thoroughly. Soon, Jiang Ping was stripped naked by Yang Wu. Not even his underwear was left. Yang Jie saw Yang Wu's savagery and couldn't help but sympathize with Jiang Ping. What a pitiful flower thief. Jiang Ping had a lot of good things on him. He was actually wearing a small sacred armor. Even the strength of a peak heaven realm expert might not be able to take his life. His belt was also extraordinary. It was refined from a heavenly demon's tendon and was extremely tough. The pair of boots on his feet was a small sacred item called the Wind Shadow Boots. It could increase a person's speed by several times. There was also a war spear on his back, which belonged to the ranks of the top heaven soldiers. The jade pendant he wore was a type of heaven jade. It could help stabilize a person's mind and condense their xian qi. These were all external items. His true treasures were hidden very deeply. Normally, martial artists would put their personal belongings into their universe ring. However, after Yang Wu used his powerful mental power to break open Jiang Ping's universe ring, he found that it was filled with a bunch of women's items. For example, underwear, rouge, face powder, and hair accessories that women especially liked. Yang Wu wanted to vomit when he saw these items. He couldn't understand why a man like Jiang Ping would collect so many women's personal belongings. Other than these items, there were some daily items such as dried meat, ordinary spirit herbs, and some Xian spirit stones. There was nothing particularly valuable. It was far inferior to his worldly possessions. Yang Wu concluded that this was definitely not the place where Jiang Ping kept his valuables. Although he stripped Jiang Ping naked, he couldn't find any Qinquan objects that Jiang Ping kept his valuables in. He even suspected that Jiang Ping was like him, with a Qinquan space inside his body. Just as Yang Wu was considering whether or not to kill Jiang Ping and take out the treasures in his body, he noticed that there was an extremely small hair accessory at the back of Jiang Ping's head. This hair accessory was black, the same color as Jiang Ping's hair. It was tied at the root of Jiang Ping's hair. If one didn't look closely, they wouldn't notice its existence. Yang Wu tore it off and used his mind to attack the hairpin. He thought that he would be able to smoothly open the universe of the hairpin, but unexpectedly, he encountered a powerful rebound that blocked his power from entering. After he tried a few times, he found that the restriction on the hairpin was very strong. With his current strength, he cannot break it. He thought to himself, there is no doubt that this is an item of the universe. It seems that if I want to open it, it will take some effort. Yang Wu put away this hair accessory and handed Jiang Ping's universe ring to Yang Jie. You and I are brothers, so I can't treat you unfairly. This universe ring is yours. Yang Jie was overwhelmed by the favor and quickly declined. I can't accept this. I told you to take it, so take it. I, Yang Wu, am not a stingy person. Yang Wu said seriously. Yang Jie was extremely touched. He gripped the universe ring in his hand and said, then I'll really take it. You're welcome. Put away. Yang Wu said in a heroic and generous manner. Yang Jie's eyes were a little wet. This was the Qian Kuan ring of Jiang Ping, the famous rapist. He was afraid that Jiang Ping had a very rich collection. Therefore, he secretly took a look at it. If it was too valuable, he would return it to Yang Wu. However, when he took a look at the contents of the universe ring, his face turned completely green. He naively thought that Yang Wu would be so generous as to give Jiang Ping's treasures to him. Just as he was about to curse, he heard Yang Wu say softly, someone else is coming. Sure enough, a prodigy flew over from afar. He was only slightly slower than Jiang Ping. This person was also a heavenly king of the heavenly fish realm. Judging from his clothes, he should be from the Yin-Yang cult. Let's hide first, Yang Jie said subconsciously. What's there to hide for? Let's rob him first, Yang Wu said with a hint of excitement. Previously, the prodigies from the transcendent realm had all thought that he was from the king of Hell's palace and harbored ill intentions towards him. He didn't have any good feelings towards these prodigies, so he might as well go all out and rob them. Just as the prodigy approached, Yang Wu did it again. This time, he didn't use the power to destroy the soul. Instead, he used the power to deprive the soul of the other party temporarily. It wasn't fatal, but it would cause the other party's soul to be in a state of chaos and confusion. This prodigy was the same as Jiang Ping. He only cared about leaving at full speed. He didn't expect that someone would suddenly attack his soul. He was caught off guard and lost control of his soul. His mind was in a mess, and he was directly knocked unconscious by Yang Wu's staff from behind. This prodigy didn't even know what had happened before tragedy befell him. Yang Wu skillfully stripped him naked and removed all the good things from his body. Yang Jie, who was watching from the side, felt guilty. This prodigy's background was extraordinary. Treating him like this, wasn't it a little too cruel? After Yang Wu was done, he threw the prodigy to Yang Jie and said, deal with him as you see fit. Am I only allowed to do menial tasks? Yang Jie smiled bitterly. Don't worry. Once I'm done robbing these prodigies, you won't be lacking in benefits, Yang Wu said heroically. Yang Jie was instantly speechless. Hearing Yang Wu's tone, it seemed like he wanted to do something big. I say, brother, this will incur public anger, Yang Jie said guiltily. Do you think that with my current status, I won't incur public anger? Yang Wu retorted. Yang Jie didn't know how to refute. He was a little regretful that he came back to find this little ancestor. If this went on, who knew how big of a disaster it would bring to the Yang family? Following that, prodigies flew past one after another. However, these prodigies didn't act alone. Instead, they traveled in groups. Yang Jie thought that Yang Wu wouldn't act rashly. Unexpectedly, Yang Wu still used the same trick. His soul eyes shot out continuously, stripping the prodigies of their souls and robbing them one by one. Geniuses with powerful soul eyes and no defensive soul items were basically fishes on Yang Wu's chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. These prodigies had extraordinary collections. Not only did they have medicinal herbs obtained from the broken space, but they also had weapons, battle arts, and even some rare materials. Yang Wu didn't even have time to count them. He kept them first. After this matter was over, he would slowly deal with them. Yang Wu didn't take them all for himself. He also gave Yang Jie 2 yin and yang rings. This time, he didn't trick him. Yang Jie was quite touched. In his heart, he didn't have much confidence in cleaning up these naked prodigies. In just 4 hours, Yang Wu had robbed more than 10 prodigies, all of whom were on the Heavenly King list. If this matter spread out, it would be a disaster. At this time, another prodigy flew out. Yang Jie recognized that it was the young Hall King from the Palace of Eternal Life. He hurriedly sent a voice transmission to Yang Wu. Don't do it this time. It's the young Hall King, the first on the Heavenly King list. Even if the Heavenly King comes, I'll do it. Yang Wu didn't have too many concerns. He used the power of his soul eyes again and targeted the young Hall King. Would the young Hall King fall into Yang Wu's trap like the other prodigies? Chapter 536. The young Hall King was the sacred son of the Longevity Hall. His birth was accompanied by astonishing phenomena. Thousands of swords worshipped him, the longevity lotus bloomed, and the cries of auspicious beasts. He was known as the new generation's Qilin son of the Longevity Hall. He didn't disappoint. He advanced triumphantly and defeated all the prodigies of the same level. He was only 18 years old, but he already had an extraordinary reputation in the transcendent world. Everyone thought that he could become a giant in the transcendent world in the future. The young Hall King gained a lot in the fragmented space. Not only did he obtain blood dragon grass and blood dragon crystals, but he also obtained various battle skills and heavenly medicines from other places. He even obtained some ancient objects that he didn't know about. He was quite lucky. This time, he killed his way into the Yiksha tribe and went deep into the Yiksha tribe's important territory. He also gained a lot, more than what he gained in the Blood Dragon tribe. He didn't get greedy. After obtaining most of the benefits, he quickly left the Yiksha tribe. Anyway, he had already ensured that he was the first on the Heavenly King ranking. The young Hall King was indeed worthy of being the number 1 exceptional prodigy on the Heavenly King ranking. When Yang Wu launched a sneak attack, he immediately sensed it. However, Yang Wu's soul light was formless and traceless, making it impossible to guard against. Although the young Hall King sensed it, he still wasn't able to react in time to block it, and was struck by Yang Wu's soul light. Just like the others, the young Hall King let out a miserable scream. His body swayed in the air and was about to fall. I've succeeded again, Yang Wu said to himself happily. He held a staggering staff and swept toward the young Hall King, ready to knock him out. Yang Jie covered his eyes and exclaimed in his heart. Even the young Hall King was hit by this staggering staff. I'm afraid that staggering staff will become a legendary divine weapon. Just as Yang Wu was about to approach the young Hall King, the young Hall King's figure suddenly changed. Like a lion king awakening, he stared at Yang Wu with a pair of sharp and spirited eyes. He swung a fist with a strong fist intent, forming a long fist shadow that went straight for Yang Wu's face. The young Hall King's attack came too suddenly. Yang Wu was shocked. He forcefully twisted his body and avoided the fatal attack. Bang! The fierce shadow of the fist brushed past his face, scraping his ears and breaking his hair. Yang Wu stepped back and exclaimed, "Are you all right? So it's you. You dare to sneak attack this Heavenly King? You're dead." The young Hall King stabilized himself and coldly looked at Yang Wu. The young Palace King was 1 year younger than Yang Wu. He was definitely the most outstanding one among this year's heavenly legends. He came from the mysterious palace of eternal life, one of the 3 palaces. He practiced the way of eternal life. He was old, but he already had a strong vitality, which was much stronger than that of ordinary experts in the celestial fish realm, which meant that he had a very long life. The young Palace King had seen the battle between Yang Wu and Lei Shuyang, and had already compared Yang Wu to an opponent of the same level. Now that he was attacked by Yang Wu, he had a reason to attack Yang Wu. Longevity Fist. The young Palace King was extraordinarily handsome, and his momentum was astonishing. He was like a banished immortal descending. With the strong power of his fist, he crushed toward Yongwu. The longevity fist was the unique skill of the Palace of Eternal Life. Every punch and every move contained the way of eternal life. Ordinary heavenly legends couldn't learn the longevity fist even if they learned it. Only peerless heavenly legends might be able to find some way. However, without the accumulation of time and night, there was no way to understand the true mystery of the longevity fist. This was a top combat skill. The young palace king grew up in the Palace of Eternal Life and had been practicing the longevity fist for 10 years. Now he was just a beginner. A top-notch fist technique, even if it was just a beginner's fist technique, would still be unparalleled. Yongwu felt the weight and power of the young palace king's fist intent. The pressure around him increased greatly, which not only affected the direction of his retreat, but also suppressed his chi. The fist intent was about to touch the edge of Tao. "I'm not afraid of you." Yongwu was already in a bad mood. Otherwise, he wouldn't have robbed all the heavenly legends. If the young palace king wanted to fight, he would fight. Barbarian Tiger Fist. Yongwu also had fist intent, which wasn't any weaker than the young palace king's. He used the momentum of a tiger to fight against the young palace king's aura. It was like a fierce tiger coming down from the mountain, intimidating thousands of demons. Bang! Bang! The battle between the two peerless heavenly legends immediately caused a huge commotion. Waves of chi swept up in a radius of several miles. Yang Jie was so scared that he quickly ran away, afraid that he would be affected by the shock waves. The young palace king's eyes were like lightning, and his fist was like a star. Behind him, there was a vague image. It was like a Saint Lotus blooming, but also like a Qilin roaring. Just this battle strength alone was enough to show that the young palace king wasn't any weaker than Lei Shuyang when he went all out. It was no wonder that he was ranked first on the Heavenly King ranking. Yongwu used the Barbarian God's Arm to fight back. His Barbarian God's Arm was constantly increasing, and his Battle Blood talent was also increasing. Only when he used his Battle Blood talent could he block the young Palace King's attack. The young Palace King had stepped into the Heavenly Fish realm, while Yongwu was still at the peak of the Earthsea realm. He could be considered a quasi-Heavenly Fish realm, but the gap between the two was still huge. Both of them attacked very quickly. In a few blinks of an eye, they had already exchanged 1 to 200 punches. Yongwu was hit in the ribs by the young Palace King's side punch. His internal force drilled into his body and destroyed his vitality. The longevity fist could give people immortality, but it could also rob them of their immortality. Yongwu was shocked. If it wasn't for the immortal chi in his body, he would have been killed by the longevity fist after taking several punches from the young Palace King. This power isn't any weaker than the Path of Death. Yongwu secretly exclaimed. He released the Path of Death and fused it with his fist intent, striking out with the Barbarian Death Fist. The Path of Death was originally a kind of martial arts. It could be fused with any combat skill to display a stronger combat strength. After Yongwu struck out with the Barbarian Death Fist, his strength increased greatly. The savage beast that appeared carried a strong death aura, which greatly affected the young Palace King's momentum. The Path of Death. The young Palace King shouted with a strong killing intent in his eyes. The Palace of Eternal Life and the Palace of King of Hell were sworn enemies. Yongwu's use of the Path of Death had stimulated the young Palace King's nerves. The young Palace King began to show his invincible power. The young Palace King used all the power of the Heavenly Fish realm. Countless long fists appeared, enveloping the area within a radius of 2 miles, forming a fist intent aura field. Each punch carried a thunderous momentum, which was enough to smash dozens of mountains into dust. Yongwu's battle blood was stimulated to the peak. With an unyielding spirit, he fought with the young Palace King to the end. Barbarian Dragon Fist. Barbarian Elephant Fist. The two barbarian fists were the most terrifying. First, a barbarian dragon soared into the sky. Then, an elephant leg stomped down from the sky. It was as if it was going to break heaven and earth. Nothing could stop it. Rumble, rumble. An earth-shattering sound spread in all directions. Some of the geniuses on the Heavenly King ranking quickly rushed over. When they saw the two fighting fiercely, they cried out in surprise. Who is fighting the young palace king? Is it the saint of the Inyang sect? Are you blind? That's Yang Wu, who was sent flying by Koen Xian. He's still alive. I didn't expect him to be so powerful that even an innate realm warrior couldn't kill him. After this battle, this boy will definitely become famous in the transcendental world. It's a pity that he's from the Palace of Hell. No matter where he's from, he'll be suppressed by the young palace king. Dozens of geniuses were watching from afar. Watching this thrilling battle, they were all wondering if they were a match for the two geniuses. After comparing them, they tragically found that the gap between them and the two geniuses was not small at all. In the end, Yang Wu was still inferior to the young palace king in terms of strength. After being hit repeatedly by the young palace king, several fist marks appeared on his body. Blood kept oozing out. If it weren't for his tough physique, he would have exploded. However, the young palace king wasn't unharmed. Yang Wu's Tao of Death was his nemesis. His Tao of Immortality wasn't perfected yet, so he couldn't suppress Yang Wu. After being punched twice by Yang Wu, the Qi of Death seeped into his body and corroded his vitality. If this battle dragged on, it would be very disadvantageous for him. I'll kill you. The young palace king's killing intent surged. His fist energy became more and more resplendent, like a bright moon blooming in the night sky. Long life, bright moon. The young palace king used his ultimate strength and didn't hold back anymore. His fist energy transformed into a bright moon. The omnipresent fist energy smashed Yang Wu into the ground. The ground caved in. The destructive power was incomparably terrifying. After such a round of attacks, the geniuses felt their scalps tingle. If they were in Yang Wu's position, they would have been smashed into pieces. They exclaimed in their hearts, terrifying. They knew that the young palace king was very powerful, but after seeing it for themselves, they still felt that he was more terrifying than they had imagined. After completely suppressing Yang Wu, the young palace king let out a long sigh and said, "You forced me to use the power of the heavenly fish realm. You could die proud." Just as he finished speaking, an invisible blade slashed toward his waist. Clank! The young palace king was wearing a small saint garment, so the ice blade wings couldn't cut into his flesh. The young palace king's senses were outstanding. He continuously attacked the invisible ice blade wings from left and right. The ice blade wings moved according to Yang Wu's will. They constantly changed their positions to strangle the young palace king and divert his attention. Yang Wu was rapidly devouring the Xian Qi in the surroundings to heal himself. He was still alive as he had already worn the minor saint inner armor that Jiangping gave him. Without the inner armor, even if he didn't die, he would be severely injured. What a powerful guy. No wonder he's the number one heavenly king. Yang Wu thought to himself. In the next moment, he retracted his ice blade wings. He didn't want to waste any more of his kidney power. He leapt into the air with a war spear in hand. It was also a top-grade divine weapon he had obtained from Jiangping. He faced the young Hall King again and spat. "Let's fight again." In an instant, the battle blood in his body was boiling. The blue bloodline was constantly activating the muscles in his body. His entire body was bursting with a murderous aura. The heavenly fish faintly looked like it was going to swallow the moon. The spear shadow turned into a dragon and stabbed at the young Hall King. The ultimate move of the Dragon Rebel spear art. Rising Dragon. Yang Wu didn't hold back at all. He used his weapon again and used his strongest killing power. He turned into a true dragon that soared into the sky and illuminated the night sky. Roar. Chapter 537. Spear intent transforming into a dragon. This was definitely not a simple attack, but Yang Wu becoming one with his spear. This spear did not belong to Yang Wu. He had just obtained it, yet he had already become one with it. If others were to find out about this, their jaws would drop from shock. Any weapon and its master would need a very long time to become one with each other. Only under the right circumstances would they be able to become one with their weapon. Why was Yang Wu able to do this as soon as he obtained his weapon? This was all because of his war blood talent and the Yang family spear art. There was an inexplicable connection between the two. When used at the same time, he would be able to unleash extraordinary battle prowess. Yang Jie was the clearest about this. He was born in the Yang family, so he knew the secrets of the Yang family better than anyone else. When he saw Yang Wu unleash such a powerful attack, he could not help but exclaim, "Becoming one with the spear, this is a sign of the war blood talent returning to its roots." From afar, Yang Wu looked like a heaven-defying true dragon. The might of his spear looked down on the heavens, as if it wanted to break through the heavens. The dense spear intent contained the Tao of death, and it could go against all enemies. The young Hall King sensed the might of Yang Wu's spear, and a trace of ferocity appeared on his youthful face. He coldly said, "I can slay a dragon with one hand." The young Hall King's innate power surged from his arm. Scales appeared on his arm as a large amount of Xian Qi lingered around his arm. The faint shadow of a Qilin appeared behind him. This was his innate potential, the Qilin arm. The young Hall King was extremely arrogant and confident. No one in his age group was his match, and he could suppress those at the same level as him. Moreover, Yang Wu's cultivation was below his. A true dragon against a Qilin, all things would be destroyed. The geniuses watched from afar with shock in their eyes. They clenched their fists and gritted their teeth, wanting nothing more than to charge over and fight the two of them. The true dragon and Qilin collided who knows how many times, but the two were actually equally matched. The young Hall King could not accept this fact. He was in the heavenly fish realm, but he could not suppress Yang Wu even after activating the Qilin arm. This was the first time that he could not deal with someone weaker than him. He opened his mouth and spat out a stream of qi, which rushed toward Yang Wu like a suspended river. The two forces attacked each other from both sides. Eloquent as a river, this was another small talent, as expected of a peerless genius that only appears once in 1,000 years. Geniuses who could awaken one innate skill were all top-tier geniuses. Geniuses who could awaken two innate skills at the same time could be called peerless geniuses. Such peerless geniuses were 1 in a million. When they grew up, their battle prowess would be astonishing. The young Hall King and Yang Wu belonged to this category. Not only did they awaken 2 innate skills, they even awakened 3 innate skills. The young Hall King had the talent of eloquent as a river, which belonged to the gift of the mouth. It did not belong to the category of internal organs, blood vessels, bones, or souls, so it was not a big talent. For example, Yang Wu's Wind God's legs and Barbaric God's arm were small talents. This stream of qi suddenly rushed out and disrupted Yang Wu's attack, forcing him to roll continuously. His qi and blood were in turmoil. His chest was dented, and at least 3 of his sternum were broken. More than half of his body was soaked in blood. The tip of his spear was also stained with blood. Obviously, he did not have much of an advantage. There were 2 bloody holes in the young Hall King's thighs. His neatly combed hair was also disheveled. He had lost his usual clean and elegant appearance. "Yang Wu, you brat, I will definitely bury you here." The young Hall King's long hair fluttered in the wind. With a strong killing intent, he took out his longevity sword and attacked Yang Wu again. This time, the young Hall King was serious. Yang Wu was still using the dragon reverse spear technique. As he used his war blood to complement the dragon reverse spear technique, he found that his spear technique was improving very quickly. He was close to the stage of greater mastery. Once he reached greater mastery, his explosive power would be even stronger. When he fought, there was the Tao of death and blood qi. These powers were not something ordinary people could withstand. The young Hall King was only able to withstand them because of the floating light on his body. The longevity sword technique was the same as the longevity fist. They were the most powerful techniques of the longevity hall. The young Hall King had used them to defeat countless powerful enemies. The longevity sword. 1 gave birth to 2, 2 gave birth to 3, and 3 gave birth to 10,000 swords. Countless sword shadows formed a terrifying sword aura that wanted to cut Yang Wu into pieces. How could Yang Wu resist such a terrifying attack without the help of the Thunder Saint Hammer? Yang Wu felt suffocated. He finally realized how big the gap between him and his opponent was. He desperately wanted to break through the celestial fish realm and fight to the death. Just as his conviction wavered, Little Hay's voice seemed to ring in his ears. "Little Wu, are you going to admit defeat just like that? Then you don't deserve to be my human pet." At this moment, Yang Wu's gaze once again became incomparably resolute. A long sword appeared in his other hand. His war blood talent boiled to the extreme. His soul, I, and the earthly spring I shone together. The bright moon rose, the heavenly fish gave birth to the eye, the heaven and earth mysterious bridge was like a rainbow, and 1,000 holes dantian spurted out at the same time. Wisps of immortal chi separated and entered his body. They poured into the long sword and turned into a meteor that pierced out. Nameless sword. When this sword pierced out, heaven and earth dimmed. Stars exploded in the distant starry sky. The destructive, heavenly might was abnormally terrifying. The thousands of swords that surrounded him were all destroyed by this sword. The sword rainbow went straight into the young Hall King's chest. His little saint garment blocked this sword, but there was still a very powerful aftershock that shook his organs. He vomited blood and flew backward. His blood and chi were all messed up, and his combat strength was halved. Yang Wu was not in a good state either. His nameless sword pierced through more than half of the longevity sword will, but a small part of it still landed on his body. Each sword cut left a wound on his body. Even though he was wearing the little saint armor, he was still cut by the sword. The destructive power was extremely shocking. Yang Wu was covered in blood. His limbs were almost cut off, and the bones inside were exposed. Fortunately, he protected his head with all his strength. If his head was also cut off, he would not be able to save himself. Both of them were seriously injured, but they still did not retreat. They used their trump cards and continued to fight. "Yang Wu, little brat, I will use your life to pay for every drop of blood I shed. Other than your blood, your head also belongs to me." A small sparkling pagoda appeared between the young Hall King's eyebrows. It had 7 levels, and each level emitted boundless brilliance. It was like a natural holy object that made all living things tremble in fear. This was the young Hall King's ultimate talent, Sword Pagoda. Once this pagoda appeared, countless swords appeared. The long sword in his hand flew out. Yang Wu's long sword kept jumping, trying to escape from his hand. Even the sword weapons of the prodigies in the distance broke free and flew toward the sword pagoda. It was a strange phenomenon of 10,000 swords facing the pagoda. Yang Wu revealed an extremely serious expression. He had seen the young Hall King use this move in the Blood WIRM nest. Its killing power was terrifying. Now that the young Hall King's strength had reached a new level, the might of the sword pagoda was probably not something he could withstand. This is the young Hall King's supreme killing talent. Yang Wu must die. It's an eye-opener to be able to see the young Hall King use his full strength to kill the enemy. If this continues, the young Hall King can become one of the candidates for the heir of Kunlun's field. Yang Wu is from the King of Hell's Palace. He can withstand the attack of the small banana fan and not die. Perhaps he has some other moves. Yang Wu understood why his soul eye attack couldn't kill the young Hall King. It should be because of this sword pagoda. This sword pagoda's attack interfered between the tangible and intangible. Not only could it attack the soul, but it could also destroy the physical body. It was a great talent. Yang Wu didn't panic. He opened his third eye, and the soul light shot toward the sword pagoda. He wanted to see if his soul eye could contend against the sword pagoda. When the power of the soul light came into contact with these sword blades, there was indeed a contest. Soul light could destroy souls, and, similarly, it could destroy these sword blades that were condensed from soul power. However, destroying the sword blades was only treating the symptoms and not the root cause. Only by damaging the sword pagoda itself could it stop these sword blades from continuing to kill. At this moment, a large number of sword blades were strangling towards him. Yang Wu raised his sword and attacked continuously, constantly slashing at these sword blades. Unfortunately, these sword blades were formed from soul power and couldn't be destroyed by physical strength. When the sword blades landed on Yang Wu's body, strands of sword blade power entered his body, cutting him until he was in great pain. The most terrible thing was that these sword blade powers were still stabbing towards his third eye. They entered the divine court and wanted to destroy his soul. You have a soul eye, and I also have a sword pagoda. Let's see who is stronger. While the young Hall King circulated the longevity art to recover from his injuries, he watched proudly as the power of his sword pagoda strangled Yang Wu. In his eyes, Yang Wu was definitely going to die. This time, Yang Wu was gone overboard. Yang Jie cried out in surprise from afar. He felt extremely regretful in his heart. If Yang Wu knew how to endure, he would definitely be able to compete with the young Hall King in the future. Even if he wasn't as good as the young Hall King, he wouldn't be too far off and could still become an overlord. The little flood dragon beside Yang Jie kept flicking out its tongue, looking as if it wanted to rush over and help Yang Wu. However, it was firmly suppressed by Yang Jie, not allowing it to act recklessly. At this moment, the number of prodigies in the surroundings had already reached 30 to 40 people. They were all watching the young Hall King judge Yang Wu and kill the evil party. The sword pagoda was very harmful to the body, but Yang Wu had the little saint armor and could still defend himself. How could his soul defend himself? Soul Control Heart Sutra. This was an immortal sutra that Little He had imparted to Yang Wu. It was a secret of the soul race. He had the divine court Tao flower, so he could completely cultivate it. After cultivating it, he understood more and more how to use the power of the soul. Just as the power of the sword pagoda entered his divine court, the Soul Control Heart Sutra moved. The divine court Tao flower opened and closed, forming a ball of invisible power that enveloped his soul, blocking the many sword blades outside his soul. The Soul Control Heart Sutra was divided into 5 stages: Soul Awakening, Soul Guide, Soul Body, Battle Soul, and Soul Control. Yang Wu had already reached the peak of Soul Guide and hadn't had the opportunity to break through to Soul Body. Under the threat of the Sword Pagoda's power, the Soul Control Heart Sutra finally had a breakthrough. His soul sat cross-legged at the core of the flower, absorbing the power of the divine court Tao flower. Layers of soul power enveloped and cleansed him, forming an even more real soul. A different kind of life force erupted. His soul roared, and the divine court Tao flower swayed, shattering all the sword blades. Chapter 538. Even those in the heavenly fish realm might not be able to condense a soul body. Only those in the dragon transformation realm could successfully do so. Yang Wu hadn't reached the heavenly fish realm yet, but he had reached the soul body realm with his talent in the Soul Control Sutra. This was truly worthy of celebration. A soul body was different from a newly condensed soul. It existed in the celestial court and possessed powerful spiritual power. It could enhance spiritual senses and actively defend the soul so that it wouldn't be easily disturbed by external things. It could also calm the mind and improve the comprehension ability. Those who had formed a soul body could comprehend low-level battle skills in a flash. It wouldn't be as difficult to comprehend high-level battle skills as before. They could quickly get started and reach the greater success stage in a short time. It was even easier to reach the conception stage. There were many benefits to forming a soul body. Yang Wu would have to discover them himself in the future. Now, Yang Wu's soul body automatically protected his soul, blocking the power of the sword pagoda and eliminating the hidden danger. Not only that, but Yang Wu's soul power had increased greatly. A large amount of soul power gushed out of the celestial court Tao flower and entered the soul eye. The soul power release became extraordinarily powerful. The power shot toward the sword pagoda increased greatly. It was like the power of an arrow shooting out, fiercely hitting the sword pagoda. Clank! There seemed to be a faint sound. The sword pagoda shook and the power of the blades decreased sharply. The sword pagoda became much dimmer. The young palace king was shocked. He exclaimed, "How can your soul power hurt my sword pagoda? Sword pagoda, suppress him." The young palace king activated all his soul power without caring about anything. The sword pagoda instantly enlarged. Countless blades enveloped Yang Wu again. The sword pagoda itself also enveloped Yang Wu, wanting to completely suppress and kill Yang Wu. Then let's have a real fight. Yang Wu's fighting spirit soared into the sky. After he responded, he activated the soul-dominating Heart Sutra at the fastest speed. His soul sat cross-legged on the divine court Tao flower, shining brightly. His third eye had only opened a crack, but when he activated all his soul power, his soul eye widened like a furious Vajra. The terrifying spiritual pressure appeared, and the soul-destroying light turned into a thick force that rushed toward the sword pagoda. This beam of soul power was more than 10 times stronger than the soul power Yang Wu had released in the past. Countless soul swords were shattered, and in the end, it landed on the sword pagoda. The sword pagoda emitted 7 layers of treasure light and forcefully suppressed this beam of soul-destroying light. This was a true soul battle. Even the geniuses in the distance gasped in amazement as they watched. Regardless of whether it was the Young Hall King or Yang Wu's soul power that fell into their celestial court, their souls would be destroyed. Kill! Feeling a great deal of pressure, the young palace king howled, and the longevity sword in his hand charged towards Yang Wu's main body once more. The souls were competing, and the true body was tearing at each other. This was a multitasking attack that only peerless geniuses could do. Yang Wu's soul eye blocked the young Hall King's sword pagoda, and he stabbed out with his sword again. In addition, a sprite-like flame rushed out from his heart and burned the sword pagoda with lightning speed. Heart Flame Blue Beauty. This was another of Yang Wu's talents. It was beneficial to his alchemy skills, and it could also help him achieve great feats in battle. Yang Wu had always been cautious when using the Blue Beauty. Other than training his Dragon Flame Fist, it was not that the Blue Beauty was not strong enough. It was just that the power of the Dragon Flame Fist was weaker when fighting against a peerless genius like the Young Hall King. Now that both of them had used all their trump cards, it might be effective unexpectedly. It was just like how the Young Hall King injured him with his eloquence earlier. The Young Hall King was multitasking. His soul was fully powering the sword pagoda, while his physical body slashed out with the longevity sword intent. He no longer had the energy to worry too much. When Yang Wu blocked the sword pagoda and his sword intent, the Blue Beauty suddenly appeared and burned in front of his sword pagoda. This scared him so much that he quickly withdrew his sword pagoda. It was also at this moment that the power of his sword pagoda was broken by his soul eye, and the sword pagoda was sent flying. When the sword pagoda sank into his forehead, blood immediately gushed out from his forehead. His spiritual chi rapidly withered, and his power was in a mess. He was stabbed by Yang Wu again, and his injuries worsened. Ah! The Young Hall King let out a shrill cry, which shocked all the prodigies into a daze. Kill! Yang Wu's killing intent surged. He spread his profound wings and chased after the Young Hall King, wanting to end the Young Hall King. However, the Young Hall King was not so easy to kill. His sword pagoda was damaged, and he was dispirited. However, if he wanted to escape, Yang Wu would not be able to stop him. The Young Hall King did not wait for Yang Wu to reach him. He had already steadied himself and turned into a ghost as he retreated. At the same time, he said viciously, Yang Wu, today's humiliation will be returned tenfold in the future. This was definitely the Young Hall King's first defeat since his debut. His voice was filled with a strong, killing intent that was unwilling to accept this. He would definitely have a fierce battle with Yang Wu in the future. Yang Wu was wearing the wind shadow boots. He might be able to catch up to the Young Hall King if he increased his speed to the maximum. However, he felt that the Young Hall King would definitely have a life-saving trump card. After hesitating for a while, he gave up on the idea of continuing the chase. He said, How dare a stray dog speak of bravery? I'll kill you like a dog in the future. When the Young Hall King heard Yang Wu's word from afar, he was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. He shouted furiously, Yang Wu, if I don't kill you, I swear I'm not human. The Young Hall King had finally escaped far away. The first place on the Heavenly King leaderboard had officially changed hands. Suddenly, a force broke through the air and enveloped Yang Wu. The golden light behind him shone brightly, and an ancient voice rang out, "First Heavenly King, Yang Wu." This voice spread to every corner of the broken space. Everyone could hear it. This was a sacred message that belonged to the saint's will. Only the top 10 heavenly kings could receive the saint's will and sacred message. Before this, Yang Wu had defeated Kuan Lazy and Lei Shuyang, but he had not received the sacred message. This time, after defeating the Young Hall King, he finally received the saint's will and sacred message. All of this was mainly because Yang Wu had entered the broken space from another place. Even the saint did not know about this. After so many things had happened, the saints will concluded that Yang Wu was a human. Only then did he give the sacred message. As the sacred message fell, a beam of sacred light fell from the sky and directly entered Yang Wu's body. He did not even have the chance to resist before he accepted this force. In an instant, the black sea chi in his dantian overflowed. The heavenly fish formed. The mysterious bridge of heaven and earth became more obvious and sturdy. His injuries quickly recovered. His soul power surged. The Tao flower was tender and beautiful. Not only did his body recover, but it was also much stronger than before. He vaguely felt that he had broken through the heavenly fish realm. Suddenly, the divine chi swallowed the saint chi like a hungry wolf and strengthened the divine chi. Yang Wu was stunned. This sudden power left him dumbfounded. Fortunately, this force was not disadvantageous to him. Instead, it was greatly beneficial to him. Otherwise, he would be dead. This time, the surrounding geniuses were in an uproar. Yang Wu has become the number 1 heavenly king. How unfortunate. He is a malevolent star. Letting him become number 1 on the heavenly king ranking is even more terrifying than letting Shui Tu become number 1 on the heavenly king ranking. The saint does not distinguish between friend and foe. As long as he is a human, he can receive the saint chi. He has gained a lot. This heavenly king ranking battle is about to end. He has received the saint chi, which is equivalent to helping him break through the heavenly fish realm and solidifying his position as number 1 on the heavenly king ranking. If Kuan Xian was here, I wonder if he could use his little banana fan to send Yang Wu flying again. After Yang Wu felt the saint chi and heard the geniuses' discussion, he immediately understood what was going on. He looked at the geniuses and smiled brightly. When the geniuses saw this smile, it was as if they had seen a ghost. They quickly retreated and ran as far as they could, afraid that Yang Wu would destroy their souls. Am I that scary? Yang Wu touched his nose and muttered to himself. Yang Jia rushed over excitedly and said, "Congratulations to the number 1 heavenly king. Congratulations to the number 1 heavenly king." Originally, he thought that Yang Wu was dead for sure, but he didn't expect Yang Wu to be so ferocious and defeat the Young Hall King. His reverence for Yang Wu was like a torrential river that flowed endlessly. "What was that saint light just now?" Yang Wu asked. "I really don't know how you entered the fragmented space. You don't even know about the saint light." Yang Jia was speechless. The next moment, he seriously explained the saint light to Yang Wu. The holy light was one of the methods of the saints. This fragmented space had long been filled with the saint's will. Whoever could fight for the top 10 positions on the heavenly king ranking would be able to receive the saint's will before the heavenly king ranking ended. This time, the injection of the holy light meant that the journey to the fragmented space was about to come to an end. Originally, the rankings had already been set, but Yang Wu had suddenly taken first place. That was why the holy light had suddenly poured in. Otherwise, it would at most be announced that he was temporarily in first place and would not be given the holy light. In other words, what I just absorbed was the power of a saint. Yang Wu asked again. Of course, the power of a saint is pure celestial chi. After receiving the saint light, your martial body will be tempered. Your celestial chi will definitely increase greatly, and your realm will also break through. Your realm doesn't seem to have broken through. Could it be that the saint light is too weak to help you break through? That's not right. Every wisp of saint light is incomparably majestic. Especially since you took the number 1 position on the heavenly king ranking, You received the most saint light. It should have helped you break through to the heavenly fish realm. Yang Jie explained first. Then, he was surprised that Yang Wu's realm was still in the same place. He was puzzled. Yang Wu replied, "Yes. Maybe it's as you said. The saint light is too weak." In the distance, the geniuses who had yet to leave almost fell to the ground when they heard this. They wailed in their hearts, "If you think it's too little, you can get it to us." At this time, the geniuses who had been knocked unconscious by Yang Wu began to wake up one after another. "Why am I here? My head hurts. Damn it. Who raped the handsome me? Hurry up and give me back my virginity. Damn it, we're all lying here naked. What's going on? Could it be that a flower has bloomed on my back? Who did it? Why is the back of my head so swollen? Where did my interspatial ring go? Oh no, we've been robbed. What kind of bastard did such a wicked thing? Damn it, don't let me find out who did it. Number one heavenly king, are we leaving or not?" Yang Jie asked guiltily. "Take Jiangping and leave," Yang Wu said straightforwardly. Thus, he was the first to escape. Chapter 539. The holy words could be heard clearly in every part of the shattered space. Every genius heard the voice of number one heavenly king Yang Wu. In a quiet place, Ziyu, who had been in a daze the entire time, heard this. Her beautiful eyes lit up as she muttered, "Big brother Wu didn't die," and even became number one on the heavenly king rankings. After she woke up, Lei Shuyang told her that Yang Wu had been killed by Kuan Xian with the small banana fan. Her heart was broken. Her feelings for Yang Wu were incomprehensible to outsiders. She loved Yang Wu as much as she loved her parents. No one could replace him. If he died, her heart would die as well. Now, hearing that not only was Yang Wu not dead, but he had also obtained the first place on the Heavenly King rankings, she cried tears of joy. "Bastard! How could Yang Wu not be dead?" Lei Shuyang roared in anger. "Yang Wu must die. Even if we can't kill him here, we must kill him when we get out." Another genius from the Purple Firmament Hall said, "That's right. After killing so many of our fellow disciples, the heavens will not tolerate his death. Once we get out of here, I'll immediately beg the elders to suppress him." Ziyu acted as if she didn't hear their words. In her heart, she was thinking that if she could meet Yang Wu again, she really wanted to have a good talk with him. In other directions, different geniuses all revealed strange emotions. They didn't understand at all how Yang Wu had become the number one heavenly king. Young Hall King, what happened to him? How could the number one position be taken by someone else? Could it be that he was defeated by Yang Wu? The Young Hall King is a genius, so he shouldn't have been defeated. Perhaps this Yang Wu was lucky enough to obtain some good fortune, which is why he surpassed the Young Hall King. Yang Wu is from the king of Hell's Palace. Wasn't he defeated by Kuan Xian? How did he suddenly become the number one heavenly king? Could it be that something went wrong? To be able to suppress the Young Hall King, they are all amazing people. If we meet them in the future, we should hide as far away as possible. Yang Wu's name swept through the shattered space. He had yet to enter the transcendent realm, but he quickly gained a place in the transcendent realm. At this moment, Yang Wu and Yang Jie had already circled around to the other side. They did not leave the Yaksha tribe's territory. It seemed like they were still plotting something. "Two great heroes, please do me a favor and let me go. I have never harmed your little sister." Jiangping, who was being held by Yang Jie, cried out. At this moment, Jiangping was bound by a tough rope. Not only that, but his meridians were also sealed to prevent him from using his combat strength to escape. Yang Wu and Yang Jie pretended not to hear him. They were too lazy to pay attention to Jiangping. They only wanted to sell him for a good price. Hey, Jiangping can be killed, but not humiliated. Do you believe that I won't bite my tongue and commit suicide for you to see?" Jiangping continued to shout. Come. Those who don't bite their tongues and commit suicide are grandsons," Yang Jie replied. I was just joking. I don't think I have ever offended the two of you. Can we sit down and have a good chat?" Jiangping begged. Yang Jie did not speak again. He grabbed Jiangping and continued to walk with Yang Wu. "All right, even if you want to capture me, at least put some clothes on me. It's not good to leave me naked. It's almost dawn. How can I meet people like this? Brothers, I know where Saint's treasury is. If you're willing to let me go, I will take you with me on a treasure hunt. All right, I also know where to find a pair of beautiful twin sisters. They are both at the Earth-Sea realm. If I can taste them, I will definitely feel good. Seal his mouth. Yang Wu could not stand Jiang Ping's endless chatter and said to Yang Jie, "Okay." Yang Jie responded. He took out a stone and stuffed it into Jiang Ping's mouth. This was a king-grade stone. It was extremely hard. When it was stuffed into Jiang Ping's mouth, it almost broke his teeth. Woo-woo! Jiang Ping struggled, but no one sympathized with him. This guy had done many evil things. Treating him this way was already considered merciful. Wait for me here. I will kill my way into the Yiksha tribe and take a look. Yang Wu instructed Yang Jie. Yang Wu did not wait for Yang Jie's reply and sneaked into the Yiksha tribe. Most of the top 100 heavenly kings had attacked the Yiksha tribe. Many Yikshas had been killed, and many geniuses had also died. No one knew what Yang Wu was trying to do by taking the risk to enter the Yiksha tribe again. Yang Wu was basically sure that Ziyu was not here. He was going to kill his way into the Yiksha tribe to look for something unique to the Yiksha tribe. He had looted many of the geniuses. Although he had taken all of them, he believed that there might be even more treasures in the Yiksha tribe's territory. As Yang Wu approached the Yikshas, some of the ghost trees attacked him. These ghost trees were densely packed, and their vines whipped at Yang Wu like ghosts. They either bound him or tried to strangle him. These attacks were enough to give any king a headache, but they were ineffective against Yang Wu. Yang Wu's body was wrapped by the blue enchantress. He pointed his finger forward and a flaming finger shot out, piercing through a few of the ghost trees. The blue flames burned their bodies, and they let out bone-chilling screams. The vines that were about to hit Yang Wu quickly retreated as if they had met their nemesis when they came into contact with the blue flames on his body. The ghost trees were evil creatures that were most afraid of extreme yang flames. Yang Wu's blue enchantress rope was their nemesis. Yang Wu rushed into the Yiksha tribe's territory as if he had entered a no-man's land. This place was filled with poisonous fog, and there were many poisonous creatures. Even a heavenly fish realm warrior would die here if he did not have a high-level poison repellent pill. Those geniuses who could gain something from this place were indeed extraordinary. Unfortunately, they had all been robbed by Yang Wu. How dare a damned human come near us? Kill him. A Yiksha's hoarse voice rang out. Suddenly, a dozen Yikshas rushed out. They had all reached the Heavenly King realm. They formed a team and attacked Yang Wu. Yang Wu did not waste time talking to them. His fists were like dragons as he punched out continuously. A fire dragon that was 100 feet long charged out. Wherever it went, Yikshas would be devoured and killed. They were not a match for this fire dragon at all. Yang Wu dealt with these dozen Yikshas in one move. Soon, close to 100 Yikshas appeared. These Yikshas were all heavenly kings and below. They were not much of a threat, but it would take some effort to deal with them. Yang Wu did not have time to play with them. He charged toward the Yiksha tribe's territory. Wherever he went, Yikshas would be killed. None of them were a match for him. Very soon, a heavenly Yiksha flew out. It held an evil dragon bone saber and slashed out toward Yang Wu. It even spewed out thick venom from its mouth. The double attack could give any heavenly fish realm geniuses a headache. Yang Wu had gone all out in his battle with the Young Hall King. He should have been in his weakest state. However, after receiving the baptism of the Holy Light, his battle prowess did not decrease. Instead, it went up another level, and he was at his peak. He ignored Heavenly Yiksha's venom and continued to punch out. A fire dragon raised its head and pounced toward that evil dragon bone saber. Bang! The evil dragon bone saber was sent flying. Heavenly Yiksha's arm was burned by the flames. It was in so much pain that it let out an agonizing cry. When it sensed that the flames were still spreading toward its body, it tore off its burning arm without any hesitation. It was also at this moment that Yang Wu got close to Heavenly Yiksha and punched out toward its lower abdomen, causing its body to explode and die. At the instant Yang Wu killed the enemy, a few concealed figures appeared next to him. Different attacks encompass Yang Wu at the same time. This was the Yiksha race's innate talent, stealth kill. These attacks seemed very fast and ferocious, but as Yang Wu's soul body was formed, his senses were extremely strong. Without even needing to look, he could clearly sense the attack trajectories of these few Yikshas. Yang Wu got close to the Yiksha on the right. Before its attack landed, he grabbed onto its neck and used it as a shield to block the attacks from the other Yikshas. That Yiksha was in a complete tragedy. It was killed by its companion's full-power attacks. Yang Wu flew up and kicked out a few times consecutively. Several streams of leg light flashed past. These leg lights were like sickles used to harvest rice, slicing off the heads of those few Yikshas. A spear appeared in Yang Wu's hand. He said calmly, "I'm borrowing the Yikshas to practice my Yang clan spear manual." After the battle with the Yang Hall King, he understood how extraordinary the Yang clan spear manual was. It could make use of the power of battle blood to burst out with even stronger spear power. Yang Wu continued to charge forward. Wave after wave of Yikshas appeared. The number of Yikshas increased, reaching 1,000 and still increasing. Such a number would make anyone's scalp tingle. However, Yang Wu's expression was calm. He drew the spear head on the ground, scraping out bursts of sparks. When the spear head was raised, a spear light shot out like a snake. In the blink of an eye, a large number of Yikshas had fallen. Yang Wu wasn't a heavenly fish realm martial artist, but he was stronger than one. Every move of his spear contained spear intent. This was the benefit of using battle blood and spear arts at the same time. The lethality increased at the same time. Many Yikshas screamed miserably as black blood flowed everywhere. From time to time, severed limbs would splatter. Yiksha corpses would fall to the ground. As they died, the death aura was directly absorbed by Yang Wu's Tao of Death, strengthening it. This human is so powerful. He's not afraid of our tribe's poison mist. What should we do? Kill. We must fight to the end. Our Yiksha race isn't afraid of death. Even if we die in battle, we must exhaust his energy. Yang Wu didn't know how many Yikshas he killed. He didn't feel tired at all. He waved the battle spear more and more smoothly, and the spear arts became more and more powerful. There were snake shadows, fierce tigers, and flood dragons. All kinds of attacks contained destructive power as they slaughtered the Yikshas. The more Yang Wu killed, the more he felt that the dragon reverse spear art was extraordinary. It could resonate with battle blood. Without battle blood, the spear art's power would be reduced by half. Suddenly, a terrifying blue dragon appeared and circled the area. It instantly reaped the lives of hundreds of Yikshas. This earth-shattering power completely frightened the Yikshas who hadn't been killed. The dragon reverse spear art had reached the greater success stage.